I'm good to go.
All right.
Same.
I pull up the.
Why is there a question mark behind PoE 2?
Oh, because if you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to talk about it. I didn't play it, so I don't want to talk about it if it's all I could go off of is what I've seen, and what and what I've seen is very little of the acts basically. So
yeah, I mean, I gotta say I was actually very excited for PoE 2. If you asked me like a month ago,
yeah,
I was looking for some fresh air, a new game, but then they delayed it for like at least another half a year.
Yeah,
and PoE 1 announcement has blown me away, so I kind of couldn't care less about PoE 2 right now.
Same. I just had a podcast past weekend, like with Jim and Yosis and stuff, and it was like I basically, I abstain from talking about it because I don't have much positive to say, because most of the things I've seen, not that the game looks bad, it just doesn't look like what I want from Path of Exile, or doesn't look like the Path of Exile I know. So I don't want to WASD move. I don't want to have rolling be a key part of my build. I don't want to have to use a mount to attack things. I don't want to have to go to town to use a fucking flask. So this is a lot of unknowns. Yeah, it's a totally different game. Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's a good thing though, I think, right?
Well, I mean,
why make the same game twice? Then there's no reason for PoE 1.
It's a different game. Doesn't mean I'm going to like it. I don't play, Hentai Client Manager Volume 7 on Steam. That's a different game than PoE, but it doesn't mean it's a good game for me to play. It's just a different game. So
it's weirdly, suspiciously
accurate. You could check my playtime. It's fine. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if Legi, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, honestly, I'm the same. Like I was kind of excited about this, but then they delayed it, and it's like, who the fuck cares, man? It's gonna be there in like a year. Like, I don't know. PoE 1 is there, so that's good.
Yep.
But I do agree with Manni though when it comes to like the game being a bit different. I think it's a very good thing. It being like completely different than PoE 1. There's like a lot of clunkiness that they shown so far. I think that's gonna be kind of ironed out over time. But altogether, I think I'm quite positive for how the game looks and like how it translates from like PoE 1 vibe to PoE 2 vibe. I think so. That's a good thing.
I think the most important part from my perspective is the concept that because the games are no longer strictly tethered together, if there's something that would have probably had a negative implication in PoE 1 but a positive in PoE 2, it doesn't necessarily have to exist in both now. So, like the WASD movement they talked about being required for Path 2 and then the content being built around that sort of new playstyle, you can't just obviously port that to PoE 1 because you'd have to rebalance every single piece of combat in the game. So I don't think there's going to be any sort of harsh changes made since the games are split now, which I think is a positive. You could take the time to see, pick and choose what can be applied to both. So that, I think, is healthier.
I mean, Mark even talked about the WASD in the interview, right, yesterday. So it's like,
exactly.
Yeah, we have to do re-rig everything. We have to remake everything.
Oh, it'd be it'd be so much. Right? It literally would break the game. So good.
It's not really about breaking the game. It's about resourcing. We have to spend millions of dollars to get this going, and don't really want to.
Yeah,
we want to do PoE 2 stuff, right?
Yep. I wonder how many millions of dollars will let them. How much it costs to remove the return to town option when you die? How many millions would that take? That little quality of life.
I've seen some of the streamer content from this LA thing last week.
Yeah.
And a lot of them said it feels more like a Dark Soul PoE hybrid.
Yeah.
Tons of boss fights, way more than before, and way more complicated boss fights, like uber boss level boss fights in Act 1 and Act 2 already, in terms of complexity of the boss fight. Which I think I kind of like the idea of PoE 2 being significantly different. It's same universe, same devs, but different game. That just makes it more, So we can play PoE 1 for longer and have a distinct difference in PoE 2. It doesn't feel like playing the same game with better graphics,
I do feel like
I think it's a win-win for both games.
I think they may have jumped the gun on showcasing stuff on PoE 2 by a couple years, given the release date now. I feel like I would have rather have not seen anything until about now, since if we're 6 months out.
The whole strategy and plans have just vastly changed. Obviously, they tried to. Initially, it was just a different campaign. They wanted to bring it out quickly, and they've probably had like 7 major, decision changes now. Like in terms
It could.
of slot
There's
and
still
strategy
time.
points.
It could become a card game. It could be really truly Chris's vision.
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised.
It could be. Maybe you just launch the game, and then after you beat the first boss, it just runs Slay the Spire on Steam, and then you
What if
start
they
playing
do it
that.
like The Witcher, right? Where they implement a
Gwent?
card game inside the game? Yeah, and every time you enter town, you can like play around with Gwent against the NPCs.
That sounds good.
And you can PvP, of course, as well. And then
Oh boy,
the Uber bosses are going to drop the rarest cards.
the number 1 card, and you get mailed one in real life every time you kill a boss. Yeah,
Yeah,
And then you
just
have to-
a card game with some ARPG in the background.
that sounds solid.
I'd play it.
Anything else you want to talk about for PoE2? Same.
Yep, same.
All right, cool. I'm
I'm
gonna
just looking forward to it.
see you then.
Best part to me still is the 18 new
See you
classes.
then.
See you then. Don't hold your breath.
Like just trying out all these new builds and classes. That's
Yeah.
going to be great, I think. It looks like they're very different to each other.
It is. Yeah.
Playing through the campaign on different classes is going to feel completely different, hopefully. Maybe. That's what I'm hoping for.
And then you find your best one, and then you play Bone Shatter, and it's all fine.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's going to develop into like 5 years later, probably.
Yeah.
But we'll see how
Um,
long it takes to get there.
speaking of, this is
PoE2 has literally tornado shot, right? So
Oh yeah,
it's over.
I'm getting like
Already.
every time we talk about more,
Released.
I feel like I'm getting triggered because I remember they kept showing skills that are called the same thing in PoE1, but are just totally different skills,
Yeah.
and that like upset
so
me so
confusing.
much. I was like, why just fucking make a new name? Why do we have to call it the exact thing, but it's a totally different thing? What are you gonna do? All right. Anyway, speaking of stuff, the
Let's see what
Necropolis.
is actually close.
Yes, 3.24. I guess we'll just talk about our initial feelings when we saw the reveal trailer and then that whole stuff. I had like fucking 0 complaints, totally excited and impressed with everything. I look forward to like doing all the Necropolis crafting, the Sextant removal, master change, scarabs, invitations. All that stuff looked super cool. I don't think I had like any complaints until like it got to like very minor ones about certain skill game changes, but that's like kind of a perpetual feeling. But overall, like A+ looking so far for me.
Yeah, pretty much the same for me, except one thing. For me, the T17 part was kind of I don't know how I feel about it. Like all the Necropolis stuff is amazing. All the scarab removal, removing of sex removal, and like replacing the scarabs, like combining those two systems. It was dream come true for like actual QL, right? And all the exciting crafting. Like we didn't expect a crafting again, and bam, we get a crafting league with some juice on top, right?
Yeah.
But as I mentioned at the start, like the D17 map and like locking bosses behind with some like really difficult mods that cannot be really changed. I don't know how it's gonna work out, so I'm kind of worried about that part, like how it's gonna feel when it comes to like progression. But except that, everything's looking freaking solid.
I saw on a recent amendment they posted that the T17 maps, it did say they're on the Atlas, so that means that they should be affected by your Atlas tree.
Really?
Yes.
I saw it recently. I don't know where it was the exact. I think it was on the FAQ.
That's so huge.
Well, it is, but it also makes it, I would say, significantly harder depending on what's
Well,
happening.
You just have an Atlas tree for the 17, so it makes them way easier. You can go for the full Huck, Nico.
Yeah. Even the less
Einhorn,
damage
Shrines.
keystone, you could have the one that makes
You can make it super easy then, actually. Just don't take the increased effect of map mods, of course.
Yeah.
I'm literally, Mark talked about this exact thing. It's like, oh, people in the office already figured it out. And it's like, oh, we maybe want to change that, but like, do we really? And it's like, yeah, that's what he said. It's like,
Oh, really?
yeah.
As I said, I'm a bit out of the loop. I
is
didn't see that interview.
Yeah, there was a lot of like bombs dropped in that interview, honestly.
There it
So
was. I think it's in the FAQ section. I don't know where it was. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Oh, so they call it the RAQ now because it's, I don't know why they made that choice, but yeah. So yeah, are T7 maps affected by your Atlas passage tree? Yes, it is. So
One more, I don't know if they mentioned that, but one thing I was wondering about a lot was, how do the fragments drop? Have they talked about that? Is it like a boss drop from the T17? Or is it like a random drop in those?
So what they said, what Mark said was that the fragments are first of all they're affected by quantity, right? So you can get like multiple, right? First of all, and they work on like alignment system, right? So like some of the maps will be aligned like I think up to 3 bosses, right? So some maps will drop this, and this fragment, and some maps will drop this, and
Oh, so
fragment,
there's
and
some
this,
target
and
farming.
70. Yeah, so they're gonna be target farming. They didn't say exactly how it is, but so there is like mild target farming on that front, and yeah, as I said, they're affected by quantity, so it's a nice thing.
For the first time ever, though, so like this is the latent veteran skeptic in me. Every time we have these new system overhauls, and it's like I'm always worried about the accessibility of like, okay, so how many T17s are actually going to drop? Is there a weighting beneath the fragments? Like yada yada yada. I kind of like don't care for the first time ever because I feel like Mark is behind the wheel, and I know this is like the ultimate dick riding, but like I really do kind of feel like, oh, I think like he's gonna have it figured out to a degree, even to where he was mentioning changes feeling for solo play and solo self-bound specifically. Not that the game should be balanced for SSF, but it definitely should be balanced with having to be forced to interact with like the economy in a way. And I just feel like I feel like a baby in his arms. Like I think it'll be okay, especially for us because of our playtime. Like I'm not that worried at this point, which is really rare.
I mean, when you look at the like actual numbers that they confirm, right, which is like with 4 void stones that we have, gonna be like 6.4% chance to convert a T16 to the T17. Like that's confirmed pretty much. So
was that 8?
I think it's like some different formula.
1.24 per stone. Is that? Oh no,
they changed the number. Oh, I thought it was 2% per stone.
They've changed a bunch of numbers. I'm not sure the exact one, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like something like that, but like they multiply each other. So the actual result is like 6.4. So every 100 T16s you get 7 of the T17s, which is honestly solid, man. It's really solid.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like there's also the new uniques that are not new uniques, but the uniques that they updated and tossed behind the 17 bosses. So there's added incentive to farm 17s on top of if you're just doing for Uber farming, like the maps themselves. And also they'll give better experience rates, assuming you don't die. It's a 17, so it's slightly better in that way.
And also those layouts are like larger than the normal maps. So
and new, I think, also, right? Large. They're like totally new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So exciting stuff. But as I mentioned, like I'm kind of worried like how it's gonna play out. Like accessing the bosses and like some of those mods on those maps, I don't know, man.
They seem real. They seem real build ruining, like where it's like you can't leech or like that sort of stuff. Where it's like, oh, this just literally means I can't play this map. So that's kind of a bummer.
Well, there are ways to circumvent that, right? I already said there's going to be a scarab where you can disable prefixes and whatnot. Correct. So there's ways around that, and you can always make a second build. The league is 3 months long.
Yeah.
I think like your worry sounds like it's mostly you think it might be harder to get those items and those bosses than before, but I feel like that's completely unreasonable. Really, you just have to view this as like a new experience. Like don't compare it to the past.
Yeah, I think it's not about the items themselves. I think it's about like how it feels like doing those bosses. Like you, let's say, gonna get I don't know, like 10 T17s in your playtime, right? And like half of them are like really difficult and like almost undoable for a lot of builds, let's say, because like you get the aura effect mod.
It's like a Valdo map. I think that's like a Valdo map, though. It basically is how I feel about them, which is half of them they're just going to rot in my stash, and I don't want to, unless the reward is outstanding. I wouldn't want to make a build dedicated to doing them. And for a regular 17, I don't think I would do that. Like I don't think I would make a new build just to do a 17 that.
I mean, any tier 17 though is an Uber fragment, right?
And yeah, but you need 5 Uber fragments to do. I mean, the thing is the value of that versus the value of what the equivalent 17 being like a Valdo's map, which is a definitive reward that you know what you're getting versus like just a 17.
It's very different, obviously. That's not part of the base game, right? No. The Valdo is more like the reliquary key, just a treat. It's supposed to be very good because it's a lucky drop.
But then you get a fucking goblin edge, and then it's like, is this really a treat? Unrelated.
I mean, it's just. Yeah, I really like this whole separation. Like, do you guys remember how many podcasts we talked about how annoying it is that you basically have to farm Ubers nowadays, and normal bosses feel useless because they share the same fragment, the access.
Yep.
We've talked about it at least like 3 times in these
Oh yeah.
podcasts. Yeah.
No, that's a good change in that regard. I don't know exactly.
They made the
like,
perfect change too, right? They didn't just make it so you have to farm Shaper to get to Uber Shaper, because then that would have been even more annoying, right? Having to farm normal Shaper hundreds of times.
Well,
But, like the solution,
yes.
I think, is perfect with these new tier 17s.
For that, yes, but it depends also. I don't know exactly how the uniques are split now between normal and Uber bosses. So it depends on what those items are. It might still feel necessary to a degree for certain things. Like, for example, if regular thread is just behind Uber Cirrus, that would feel kind of shitty. And I don't know if like things like that are occurring. And also, we don't know exactly how to unlock the 3 different pages for the Atlas trees, right? What if one of them is by doing X amount of Uber bosses? Like, I just don't know for that sort of stuff yet. I think it's definitely a better change, but there's still a few question marks.
Yeah, I honestly agree. Like, I think the change itself, like, I think it's amazing overall. Like, I just am worried about like the mod pool and how it's gonna feel like, just playing the game and like, oh, I want to do those bosses, but I need to do like, I don't know, hundreds of T17s first of all, and like if there is going to be like some kind of 2% drop rates or something like that.
That's the bigger thing, I think. Did they change? So if the pools of uniques for a boss have now been split between the regular variant and the Uber variant, have the percentage drop rates for those uniques also been adjusted? So an example of that is like Echo Forge is a 0.5% off of Maven, and it's basically a piece of shit, regular Maven. So would that be now given back to regular Maven at a much higher rate, or is it still a 0.5? Like, that would be a bummer. Or like, but that's actually a useless item. So what if it's like a real useful item, like we said, Thread of Hope? Like, a Thread of Hope's an 8% off of regular Cirrus. Now it's locked behind Uber, but set behind the massive rate. So it's like a 2% drop. That would feel really terrible, because might not be reaching Uber Cirrus as often, and now the rates are still terrible.
I mean, these are just assumptions, right? Who knows?
It's all assumptions.
Like, yeah, if you asked this me like a year ago, I would be very worrisome. Oh, yeah, same as you. I would be very worried about the next league, but I kind of trust the team right now about balancing this. Like, it seems like they are actually playing the game. I'm sure they're going to get this pretty decently fine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't expect that we're going to find like 10% of the Uber Mavens that we did before, and the Flask is still a 2% drop rate. Like,
yeah.
They're going to balance it accordingly, surely. I'm
just
hopeful there.
You're going to get belts and boots, and you're going to like it. And that's it.
I think that's not my worries. Mostly my worry is just how it's just gonna feel playing those things. Like, oh, you just, they might not be the most fun with like all those really mods that you cannot modify. And then the thing that you mentioned about like removing like the mods from there, it's locked behind one of the like rare scarabs that's kind of sharing mod pool with like other mods, right? So the thing that removes prefixes and suffixes from the map, it's also adding like infused crafts, let's say infused abyss or something like that. So it's not like this thing does one thing, so we can do it for this. So probably not even gonna use it for, you know, this intended purpose that they mentioned first, in my opinion. So that's you know, my negativity spilling out there, but I think it's gonna be fine.
You're fired. That's
it. Just make a good build that can run everything.
Yeah,
we'll have something to do, you know, for 3 months. It's nice that there's new endgame goals. I like it.
3 months? I think you mean 4 months.
No, let's be honest. For a 4-month league, let's go.
There are only 4 months leagues. That's all we know now. Well, aside from the tier 17 change, what other stuff from the Atlas tree? I mean, there's so much stuff, but from the Atlas tree, like, what really stood out to you on the Atlas tree changes?
Obviously, the pages, the extra 2 trees, right? Yeah. I remember the day before the announcement, we were talking about it in my stream. Like, a viewer brought it up, and I was like sharing this wild vision. What if we could have multiple like presets? And I didn't even dare to.
We've been saying this for years. It's like, it's so needed.
I was like, I'm not saying I'm like the first one. It's just saying how much this caught me by surprise. Like, I was hoping that maybe one day we might get presets, but I was kind of just dreaming, right? I didn't really expect it to be a thing. And I was expecting that it would cost like 50 unmakings to change from one to 3 other or something. And then a day later, I watched the announcement, and they're just giving us 2 free trees. Like, oh, like it's like a wish come true. It's like a Christmas miracle, you know, for PoE players. Like, not only did they implement it, but they implemented it very generously and really well too. Like, you can choose which atlas to use on the map device. It's so convenient. Like, it shows that whoever made this
plays the game.
is playing the game a lot.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it.
It was pretty mind-boggling to see that. Yeah, it felt good. It felt like it was like one of us, one of the boys.
I mean, I literally like don't tweet at all, but that was one thing that I tweeted. Is like I've seen this thread. It's like, oh, the Atlas presets. I want that so much because we are switching Atlas so many times. At least in that type of environment, right? Like you just switch Atlas, even in trade. Like
even the first week. I mean, everyone has a starter. Like even trade players, especially, have a starter tree. Then they have the thing they want to focus on. So it's like this is just good for everybody. There's no downside. Mm-hmm. The curious thing is though going to be, because again, there's two extra trees. We have 3 presets. What is the prerequisite? I think the big one is, what's the prerequisite to unlock the second tree? The third tree I could see being locked behind even you getting like 115 or something. But if the second tree is something that is like kind of not unlocked by like 80 points into the Atlas, it's going to be a little bit weird. Like maybe if just like your first 16 unlocks it, that would make sense. But I'm curious what that's going to be locked behind, because that's kind of at that point of the game is when you want to like, that's when you start doing your second one.
Oh, you want to start that early? I feel like it would be totally fine if you get it pretty late, so that
the
your
second
actual
tree?
like
No.
league start decisions matter a lot, right?
Well,
like because if you get a second tree at like say 50 completion or 100 completion, or your first year 16, I feel like you would just basically have like a dump Atlas, right? Where you just go for the league start rush Atlas, no care in the world for the cost of respecking it, because you will play that cost like a week later when it's free. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I
don't really have any decision making anymore.
No, for day one, I mean, previously we would pick up like every map node, every Keurig node, and then like wandering path, and then
you don't have to, right? It's the decision you make. You make your league start like your progression easier, but you're losing out on loot, and it's an opportunity cost. If you have a second tree very early, you just go for that full mapping tree until
I think that's always been the case.
Is done, and then you go for the full juicer tree right after.
Yeah, well, you don't have to take it even if it's offered early. If they offered all 3 tree slots minute 1, you don't have to use them. That's why it's preference. If you're saying that if you had the option, you would feel torn and like want to use them.
I think it's mostly like metagaming stuff. It's like people would metagame the system really hard. But I do agree with Lighty. Like if we unlock 1 tree at like around, I don't know, 17 completion, like 17 completion for a, like let's say average. Well,
that's like that's average. A weekend though. That's like for playing a couple hours a night. If you want to say that even.
Yeah, exactly. It's quite a bit of progression for like just person that doesn't know live the game like we do usually.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit. So I think it's honestly fine if we're not getting like around 70, 80. But yeah, obviously the like seasoned players can utilize it to do this progression atlas into this.
That's always been the case, really. Yeah. I mean. That's why like a 16 kind of to me a 16 makes sense, because if you could do a 16, I think you probably like at that point you've gone through far enough. And if you're in trade, if you could do a 16, I mean obviously if you get carried it's one thing, but if you're purchasing and running a 16 to expedite your secondary tree or something, I don't see that that's a problem. I don't know. To me that's like either 80 progress or 16 kind of is like the benchmark where I would put the second tree. And then the third one might be like 2 void stones or something,
I think it's going to be something like number of completions or like void stones, because if it's just your first year 16 or your first year 17 map or something like that, you could buy a carry so easily that you could basically league start with 3 trees, right?
But there's no advantage to that. It's not as if there's no advantage to having 3 trees on league start if you're buying a carry. If you're someone who's dependent on purchasing progress at that point, trees 2 and 3 mean nothing to you, because it's not as if your first tree is going to be farming for setup. You would have already purchased it by that point. You just gonna have more trees.
I think it's,
might as well
it's like very not invasive, right?
Yeah. Manny's wrong. That's it. He's fired.
It's a huge buff to like player progression, player power with these extra trees.
What does your first tree look like? You have it done? Like whatever you're starting with?
Personally, I'm gonna start with a big betrayal tree probably, because you can now guarantee a betrayal spawn.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be betrayal and then Keurig and map stuff probably. I'm also, this. I guess I don't want to go into details yet if it's for later, but there's this keystone where you get 20 extra Atlas passes, but you can't find scarabs on the ground anymore.
Yep.
At first I hated that keystone because I felt like scarabs are what sextons used to be, and there's no way in hell I would give up on sexton drops in SSF, right? They're like the main end game.
Yep.
But if I'm doing a full Betrayal Atlas, I feel like I'm going to pick up tons of Scarabs from the safe houses anyway, so I'm actually kind of down for it. And then it seems a pretty good like early keystone.
I found my...
I'm similar to you.
Yeah, the Betrayal?
Manni.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with like Betrayal Kirog, but I did, speaking of that keystone, the 23 points keystone, like I try to hero craft the situations where it actually kind of makes sense. And it's honestly kind of hard to justify it in a lot of cases. Unless you're really like puffing up there like something, it kind of cuts a lot of like puffing points. So honestly, you're gonna get like
10 or 15, like yeah. That's how I felt also.
It's like, maybe not. I don't know.
When my rough plan was like puffing on the right side and skipping all the expedition stuff until I have those 20 points, and then I used the 20 points
to pick
expedition
them all up.
Basically, and only start doing it in red maps.
Yeah, I don't like it for the same reason, like you said, where it felt like that 20 points really became more like 10 to 12 points because of reaching it. But that's because, again, I didn't have anything. If I was doing, you know, Abyss or something and I was already up there, that's different. But I kind of also just like the FOMO of not getting Scarabs, especially after seeing all the Scarabs. Now, I don't know if they're locked behind certain tiers of maps and whatever, but there are like, the Scarab list is massive. And some mechanics have 5 Scarabs within them. And it's like...
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I wouldn't use that keystone for very long. It's more like a temporary thing. You like...
Yeah.
It's like taking a loan, you know? I'm taking a loan of 20 passive points.
This is the angry loan shark.
Once I unlock them, I'm going to drop their keystone.
Yeah.
I'll just pay some Scarabs to get them early, you know? That's it.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's fair. Then again, you know, we progress our atlases differently. Like I progress like some sort of deranged slug where I do every single map, every tier 1, every tier 2.
Terrible build.
I have a good build. I only put good builds in the wheel this time. I have good things. I'm starting Archmage, which is going to be fine. It's a bit of it's a rough start, but it's fine. It's not like terrible though. I had good stuff on there. My wheel got fucked by the skill changes, to be fair. I really wanted to play Corrupting Cry Exsanguinate, and then they just kept doing things that made that less good. But, you know, that's life. But yeah, there was I totally forgot what I was going to say now. It's all Legi's fault.
Yep, I just wanted to blame your dog for
that's true.
All the mishaps.
Yeah. My dog really fucked everything up. She was supposed to pick my build, but she just...
I mean, we can just go back to the list, I suppose, right? Start chronologically. First impressions is what we did. What's about Necropolis? Have you talked a second about Necropolis yet?
No, I haven't even bothered. Yeah.
How do you guys feel about
it? The way they showcased it, first off, there was the 2 things I noted was, one, cool crafting league, looks a little complicated, but just like when they showcased Harvest, I'm sure it'll be figured out in the efficiency regard pretty easily. And the crafting leagues I always like, so that seems good. Second thing I thought was, man, that animation for making items is very long. I don't know if there's a way to skip it, and that guy yelling at you the entire time was intense. So if that's always the case, that's kind of a meme. And then I guess the third thing, which is tying into the Atlas, is for the first time ever, there's nodes on the Atlas tree that affect the active league we're in, which I think is a great decision. I have no concept of how good they're going to be, and it'd be pretty brazen, I think, to start with a full Necropolis tree without really knowing what things are going to be like. But
I'm not touching those.
I imagine,
until I learn about...
like, they're probably going to have to be on there no matter. Like, I can't imagine you're not picking up some of these if you're engaging with the mechanic. And since the mechanic isn't optional, this almost feels like it's a requirement, maybe to a degree, because some of them are so strong. Yeah. Just metrically, they seem like there's no way you wouldn't want to pick up at least some of these if you play the game.
Yeah, I think the one wheel at the bottom left is like honestly mandatory in every tree. Like if you're just gonna pick it up on every single atlas because as you are saying, Lighty, the mechanic is unskippable. So you always gonna get
the one saying that things are a tier higher in any other mechanic where that's represented. Like even think of Essence. If all your screamings dropped to shriekings, there would be non-negotiable if every zone had an Essence kind of. This kind of feels like a similar thing to me, maybe, and like, I don't know, but it just
I think one of those like things is like the beneficial mods are more like common.
Yeah, 30% more common.
Yeah, exactly. Just more common of stuff that you want anyway, right? So might as well pick it up, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't this bottom left rule make the content a lot harder though? When you have a lot of increased effect on this, or a higher TS of the haunted modifiers. The
You
haunted
don't have to pick
modifiers
it.
are the it's like the stuff like
This is the things
makes
you move
create
around.
extra damage and so on, right?
But it's the things you move around us. You could put like the shit mods on the one Devourer that spawns, and you could put all the insane IQIR on the 50,000
Sure, you're
skeletons.
still gonna make it a bit hard on average. Do you mean just picking up the left side of it?
Or any
Yeah,
any
pretty
side
much.
of it. I mean, just like
Beneficial mods.
I'm just the concept that since we have to engage with the mechanic, it's unless they balance this like literally like a god. I guess there's gonna be some of these nodes that it'd be kind of foolish not to pick up on every Atlas tree.
Yeah, for sure. It's just I think they're gonna be not very good early just because we don't know how it works.
Yeah.
Like once you have the threads down and you know what I'm gonna do with my corpses and have like a plan for crafting things, then I'm definitely gonna pick up a lot of these, right? But like picking them up on leak stud sounds very risky to me. 'cause
Yeah,
you
that's
don't know.
same.
Stuff might be
That
underpowered,
sounds crazy.
overpowered, who knows, right?
Well,
But I
from
agree.
what
Eventually, we're gonna have these on most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. From what they shown explain how the crafting system works from Necropolis, I just couldn't be more excited about it.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like if you watch the interview yesterday, because like we're gonna go off of that a lot because Mark just talked about how the things actually work. Like you can do some crazy stuff. So the morgue has, I think, the limit of 60 corpses, right? And you can use them all to influence your craft, right? And with how like the waiting craft works, you can pretty much guarantee like tier 1 or tier 2 mods in a sense on an items, right? Like literally, you
It
can
sounds like it would
cut-
take all day to set up that one craft, right? If you need 60 corpses for it, and they have to be the right ones too, right? Not just random ones.
Yeah, kind of true. It might take a while, but you can guarantee it, and
Yeah, it just feels like Harvest.
pretty much it.
Like you're gonna. I imagine we're gonna end this league with near mirror tier gear for like whatever main build we're playing.
I was not that optimistic at all.
Oh my god.
But I haven't seen the interview yesterday, as I said. Maybe I missed something up here.
He's out of the
Okay,
loop.
Like
Report him.
The crafting they showed in the initial trailer, right? It looked like slightly better reforges to me. It looked kind of just like rock crafting, maybe, like get some basic gear going. I don't know what the end game is going to be. I'm completely clueless, right? They showed these like power charge helmet and whatnot.
I'll give you
know
an
how to make
example how the waiting craft works, Manni, if you haven't watched the thing, and for people that haven't watched the interview. So what it does is pretty much it like cuts the bottom half of the modifier, like every 100 waiting, like X to physical waiting. Let's say that was the example. It cuts the bottom half of the mods, so you cannot like if you roll a physical mod, let's say, you cannot roll from tier 10 to tier 6. Those mods cannot roll. And then you add another to 100, and like their tier 5 to tier 3 cannot roll.
But
and like you add
say
another
100,
corpse.
but isn't each physical mod 1,000 waiting each? Wouldn't you need 1,000? Like
It's
plus
not
1,000
about, like I'm not talking about the waiting of the mod itself, like
The
how
process,
the waiting
yeah.
is. It just is waiting of like the corpse craft, like the plus 100 to like physical waiting. That's like the arbitrary thing that they added, right? Those kind of waitings. I'm not
plus
talking
2
about
rating.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, plus rating. Sorry. So pretty much you stuck, I think, like 4 or 5 of those, and if one mod of the chosen waiting rolls, it's gonna be either tier 1 or tier 2,
Yep.
and you can like cut mods and stuff like that. So
Yep. Seems
it's just
pretty crazy
exciting
for that sort
to
of
think
stuff.
about it.
Sounds good.
So if you have enough modifiers, you could basically roll and obviously it won't work for every thing, but like just thinking about like weapons, for example. If you could basically have it so, and then they showed one where it was something like can't roll mana mods or something, or can't roll attack mod. There's different blockers also they were showing. So you could basically just like guarantee 3 T1 to 2 fizz weapons, probably eventually, So there's like a lot of cool shit. Not to mention like adding explicit modifiers and, whatnot.
I mean, it sounds like it's still more random than like Harvest, for example, right? Harvest was just
Probably, but yeah.
so extremely deterministic. That's what I hated about it. It's just like going through like a recipe, right? You just do these 7 steps in a row, and now you have exactly this item. Like that, I feel like that doesn't have a place in PoE. There should always be some randomness in crafting. It just makes it more exciting and then more individualistic too. Right? Every gear is going to look a bit different, even though they had the same crafting method.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah,
I guess like recombinate is a bit too.
Yeah, I think you cannot guarantee stuff with this this crafting. Like there are gonna be random element to it, but
Yep.
there are like upsides can go really high.
For certain,
Like
for
the
things like especially for
corpse
like
mods can
boots,
suck.
like you'd probably be able to guarantee tier 1 speed on a boot and then just probably nudge it towards high life and high res. So like you're saying, it could just be like ROG on crack for the beginning until we have everything figured out.
Yeah, pretty much. And like one of the mods that they also shown was the fracture modifier, and it can go to like past 100%. So
3 fractures also
even
one
like
of them.
yeah, like double, triple fractured items if you're lucky enough. Or like, so it's pretty exciting, honestly, in my opinion.
Sounds great.
Yeah, ROG is Pug. So we just get more. We got ROG and then we got Dead ROG. You know, it's double ROG, live ROG, Dead ROG. Should be very exciting. Did you I'm just looking at the Necropolis page right now. Do you see the Necropolis uniques they showed?
I've seen the Perundo's jewel, right? It's kind of like
they only showed
pride, but instead of giving you strength.
Yeah, they only showed us 2 Necropolis. Yeah, 2 or 3 Necropolis uniques so far, which is the belt that gives you flash duration but huge amount of reduced effect. But then you get effect per level. And then reduced. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Vice versa, basically, right? Once you're high level, you get increased effect but low duration.
I wasn't in love with that. And then there's the jewel, which I thought was super cool. That's the one that we just make. That's the one you're talking about, the Piranhas one. We make these jewels based off of whatever. Mod, right? Not quite as strong as that which was taken, probably, but still pretty good. Could be cool.
I feel like it's going to be hard to fit it in builds, because if you have a good position for it, where it touches a ton of nodes, wouldn't you want to put a timeless
jewel? Yeah, my first thought also.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd rather just have a lethal pride or something. Yeah.
Or maybe you have lethal pride, like a good slot for it, but you'd really need the keystone in there, right? Like say Wind Dance on a bow build. You don't want to lose Wind Dancer, so
I think the real value is actually probably going to be. Let me pull this up on stream. There is, in the Scion starting area, there's already a lot of tricks you could do with putting Might of the Meek in the bottom one, and then a natural in the left, or vice versa. So I could see you putting this jewel in one of the Scion starts, and then having Might of the Meek, either 1 or 2 of them there, and then you could like super juice the small nodes. So things like that, maybe. And same with like, people also can get, this is less for solo self-fun, but the Impossible Escape for Solipsism and Scion Start lets you hit 4, I think it's 4 or 5 notables. And then the jewel socket south of it, you could put a Timeless Jewel in, convert all those notables, and you could do something similar with the Piranhas Jewel on the left socket. So you could like convert and then get the stats for them, or you can convert and then meek them up. So there's a couple interesting interactions, as if unique jewels didn't already have enough weight on builds.
Yeah, maybe it's a reason to actually play a Scion for once.
I'm league starting Scion. It's gonna be great.
Really, you're league starting? Wait.
Yeah. Archmage Scion.
Archmage is a Scion. Damn.
Yeah. It's got a lot, sorry, I want to use Agnostic, and you can't use Agnostic on a Hierophant because you get all the ES. So it's just Scion.
I see.
But yeah, there's that one's cool. The other, and then there's the wand they showcased. That one's from Necropolis, we know, which is all that new Sacred Wisp stuff for wands. But honestly,
so do we know how to get those uniques? Because we know that we have to find these unique corpses, right? But can they be targeted, or just completely random?
There's a section on the Atlas tree that I thought was interesting. Corpses in your maps have an increased chance to have unique item crafting outcomes. So I think that implies that there's going to be unique item crafting outcomes. Well, obviously because of scaling, but
probably just random, right? We just map, and eventually a unique soul will drop.
Yeah,
I assume so. Yeah, that's my best guess.
I think they said that you're gonna have like gathered the lineage of the family. So like I have to gather certain corpses to like get the full thing, right? So I think it's just map until you.
When they first showed the wand, I thought it was going to be from the lab.
For us unique collectors, that there's passives to make the league uniques more likely. Like, wouldn't you have loved that for like the Wildwood? You know, those shitty uniques.
Well, it's a little bit weird because like they've implemented a pattern also of just like if the league uniques aren't required, they just been putting them in the base game, which is fine. But it kind of just like if like for example the Wildwood staff is like a common kind of like piece of shit drop, right? Why make it a 1% drop rate off of the boss last league if that was the case? You know, I don't understand why they make the league uniques, some of them so incredibly rare. Like I still didn't get some of the Wildwood based uniques, and we did so much of the Wildwood.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I
why
don't have the heart from Wildwood. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, why make it so
Really?
rare if you're just gonna make it like a T5 trash drop next league, or if you're valuing it at something like a T5 drop, why make it incredibly rare in league? Not even just for collection, but just like to use the item. It just is so it's so strange to me.
I think they balance it around the fact that if it's the current league mechanic, that they balance it for the fact that everyone is doing it, right? So I think the trickster helmet that when you're talking about, it was probably very common in trade still, because every single person could find it, right? Compared to a unique that people aren't like doing the mechanic for. Kind of like how Metamorph uniques were so rare, right? But during Metamorph they were kind of fine. Because everyone and their mom did Metamorph then. And then they became incredibly rare afterwards.
I guess. People just hide them though. People just hide them on your filter. True. It's like,
how do you guys feel about like the mechanic itself in maps? Because we've only been talking about the crafting so far, really. But I
like it. I'm very.
There's so much to this mechanic, right? There's like how many layers are there?
Like basically 4 facets, basically, up to the mechanic.
Yeah. There's like the juicing of monsters in maps, and then they have either downsides or rewards. And then there is these embers that can drop to modify monsters in a map. You can make them all into frogs or make them into tattoo dropping Karui monsters and whatnot. And then you find the corpses and craft with them, right?
I always like a mechanic that you don't have, that you can't opt into, because from my perspective, by choosing to play the league, that's you opting into engaging with the mechanic. So I want the mechanic to be up front and center from the minute we hit the coast to the minute we stop mapping. And this league mechanic is non-negotiably in your face. So for that reason, I like it just full blast, you know? It's like Beyond League when
we can't skip it,
right? In recent times.
Yeah.
It reminds me of playing Beyond, which was obviously hardcore, 10 years ago. But like the second we got to the ledge as a group and you killed like a pact, it would spawn a rare that like would take 10 minutes to kill, which that's kind of shit. But the feeling of that is really, really good. It kind of is like Betrayal was the last time you had this, I think, with the assassinations was like, intervention. Sorry. Like that being non-negotiable. Like that part I really, really like, where it's like, I want to feel the pressure of the league.
I mean, it used to be called a challenge league for a reason, right? It was supposed to be harder than the base game.
Yeah, they've definitely gotten around. It just became like a Diablo season where it's like you could choose to opt in, or you could choose to just sell it and be like, all right, well, there's no reason not to play league. Got it. So I don't like, but
yeah. Also, the thing is, like, the league has so many facets, as you mentioned. Like, you have something for for juicers, something for crafters, something for, I don't know, like just alch and going. Like, there's just a lot of things you can do with it. So I think if you choose the league mechanic that's like literally no opt-out option, like this is gonna be the one, right? Because you can just kind of choose which part of the league you can engage. Like, the difficulty is non-negotiable, as you're saying. Like, the map is gonna be harder, right? But it is what it is. But
interesting.
It's a good choice.
The interesting part about that is if you choose to just engage with the mechanic, or if you choose to not engage with the mechanic really and just continue on like usual, it actually will be detrimental compared to at least rearranging the mobs and their mods in the very beginning of each zone, because those are there no matter what. And if you took 5 seconds to rearrange them, it could make a significant impact on the difficulty. So for that reason, it's like if you actually ignore it, you will be worse off than someone who takes 5 to 10 seconds, whatever, to rearrange the modifiers. At least you could like maybe not give those, because if it was like Soul Eater goes on crabs or Soul Eater goes on devours, that's going to be a very different feeling as you progress that zone. And that would, you just shifting one mod up, make a pretty impactful difference.
Yeah.
And you can't remake the instance either, since it's timed cycling. So you can't just be like, let me just make a new mud flats. You have to either do it or you're hanging out for 10 minutes.
I mean, what I'm a bit worried about, I guess that's everyone's like worry probably, is how random it is. Like, imagine you're doing like a juiced map, and you're investing into this map and you're hoping you get some good ones, and then you get like the worst outcomes ever. Because you open the lantern, it's just completely random, right? You might just get the crazy 700 million rarity mod, but on a bad map, when you just put your alch and go map in and then
could have double GMP on a fucking Devour. I think that's fine as long as the rewards reflect the difficulty. Like, we just left Affliction League, which was like, for me, the gold standard of add difficulty, add reward. You know, if you want to make it incredibly difficult and then you have it actually drop stuff, I don't feel bad to kill a rare for 10 minutes if it drops 50, rare items. Even if they're all hidden, it's like the concept of just I'm sinking time into this and feels rewarding. So if that's the case for this as well, and it's like, yeah, this I did the best I could. I invested in the map. It still gave me shit mods, and everything was very challenging. And it took a long time, but it did drop stuff. I wouldn't really feel bad. But if it literally just like, if it's like ultimatum where the mobs don't drop anything, I'd feel really shitty.
Yeah, the crux in the details, honestly, like how they balance it and
exactly.
how we gonna like benefit from like the difficulty spike. So we just have to see, honestly. But I'm honestly hopeful. Like I had a lot of people like being quite negative about that part. Is like, oh, we cannot opt out of it. Like it's difficult. Campaign is gonna be more difficult. The map's gonna be more difficult.
Babies. Call them babies. They're all babies.
I mean, skill issue, I guess. But
yeah, skill diff definitely.
Oh no, my monsters are fighting back.
I know. That's what honestly, not that I'm not trying to shit on your people, but I am, because that's like I've gotten the same responses where it's like, oh, but I'm worried about this. It's like, yeah, okay, then don't play the league. Like, that's at that point, it's like they literally what May said. The monsters are fighting back. It's like, I mean, yeah, I mean.
Yet again, like they shown the mods on those monsters in the maps. It's gonna be like one additional modifier, like tank or damage modifier on one type of monster. It's not gonna be that bad, man. It's gonna be okay. So yeah, exactly. I think the rewards are gonna outweigh the danger.
I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna fuck up sometimes and not read properly, and then oh shit, I just entered a map that has Devourers with +7 projectiles or whatever. Right? Like I'm gonna fuck some shit up as well and probably brick a map or two. Yeah, but it just sounds kind of fun. It's content.
First of all, content. Second of all, that there's you can replace things, and that's the amazing part for me. Like the minimaxing of like replacing packs and like utilizing scarps for that, right? Because there are some kind of new scarps that let's say increase the pack size of influence monsters, and you can literally replace entire buff with influence monsters. So there's like a lot of facets to that, for example. So that's the part I'm kind of excited about. Like these little things that this league provides, and then just capitalizing on it with new systems that we got reworked. I think that's the most exciting part for me about this league.
I'm understanding it correctly that the crafting portion and like what we just talked about is basically completely separate.
Pretty much, yeah.
And its function.
The corpses I find is I can't influence. I mean, I guess there's Atlas passives to make certain corpses more likely and whatnot, but it's not like making the maps. I guess making the maps more difficult might find more of them, right? If I put the negative monsters on like big packs, or is that not a thing?
So you could change the modifiers depending on the pack. So for example, I'm showing the screenshot or whatever from the thing. So like, say you wanted spiders, and there was one of the modifiers was more spiders or something, and it was like rank 3. You could drag that up if you're trying to farm spider corpses because they have like speed mods or something.
If that's how it works, yeah. If they have like targeted...
you might not always have what you want in each map, but as long as like you might have, there's going to be a level of knowledge to this where it's like you have to know, whatever, like monster category beast, for example, the coconut crab has the increased chance of speed modifier. So I know, kind of like an archname or whatever, like coconut crabs equal increased chance of speed. So let's say it's like 1-to-1, right? And then increasing the map modifiers might have a higher chance of higher versions of that, or it might have things like that, but you still can rearrange in your lantern menu and choose if you want to have, because one of the modifiers could even be like drops more corpses, or there are more of them, therefore you will have more corpses.
Yeah.
So the difficulty, and difficulty and pack size, both of them will increase the rate. Just difficulty increases it directly, pack size might increase it indirectly because there's simply more of them to kill.
Yeah. Does that mean the devoted monsters, right? The ones that have benefits don't drop those, and only the haunted monsters do?
I assume they
putting more haunted monsters on would drop in more corpses, right?
Well, I think it's where the choice comes, and that's where he said it's like a 4-tiered multifaceted league where it depends on if you're going from like, do you want to craft or do you want to focus on the drops from the bosses, or the drops from the monsters? Because you have the whole thing with the embers is a totally different thing than the corpses. And then there's other ones that have like higher chances to spawn corpses but lower chances to spawn embers effectively.
It's almost like we have multiple league mechanics in one league, right?
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. It's amazing.
Each of these facets is more complicated than Lake of Kalandra.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah. Kalandra.
Yeah.
Sorry to.
It's still.
invoke some
I
bad
don't think
memories.
even Kalandra's in my bottom 3 leagues of all time. Still, to be fair, it's
Wait, what can be worse? Crucible?
Crucible's is
Yeah.
my you know,
Crucible.
it's the problem is because I'm trying to view, for this is really tangenting, but viewing a league like is obviously different person to person, and for me, one of the worst leagues of all time, unironically, is probably Tota League, because I felt like it was the biggest departure from playing the game. I felt the most shoehorned in doing something I didn't want to do, and if I tried to play my build to do the end game content of Tota, it literally was worse than playing a level 70 ranger with no life, and like it just felt such an abomination of the game in that regard. But like Crucible trees were great. I didn't mind that. But then like to do the actual mechanic, it's like you ran past the map, skipped everything, hit a forge, then ran out, and then like there was so many parts of that. But yeah, Crucible's definitely my bottom with Tota. But there's a couple. But no,
I think for me it's Tota and Crucible. Like those two leagues are just fucking garbage. They're
Yeah, it was-
so bad. I hate them.
It's pretty much
so
the entire like the year leading up to ExileCon leagues, right? Like
yeah,
those
no,
three leagues
I
were,
know
like, the
why.
worst
Yeah,
three.
I'm not surprised. But like, it definitely felt like there was like this was half microwaved at best when they put this together. Speaking of Tota, so they adding tattoos are being reintroduced into the game. Kind of. They're like very
The bad ones at least, right? Like the
yeah, well, it's not even that they're
Basic
they're
ones.
they're how the fuck you spell tat? There we go. It's not that they're even just bad. Some of them are actually good ones, but a lot of the ones are like the ones that were really good, like the explosion ones and the max res ones. Those have just been changed totally. I think the CDR one's still there, which was like super good.
I think all the big tattoos, the like the adjacent tattoos,
yeah.
the like
the conditional
like
ones are
low
gone, right?
conditionals are gone, but
Yep.
stuff like suppression,
Yep.
movement speed, like Warcry CDR, Pro speed
Mark
nerfed,
effect.
obviously.
Mark effect is still there.
Mark
also.
effect, like Chaos Res nerfed a bit, but there's some really good ones
Yep.
still. So I think it's very big.
I mean, for a lot of builds, those are just free buffs, right? Because
Oh yeah.
like an extra
Yeah.
50 decks on a lot of builds doesn't do a single thing.
And honestly, the real
just
part about this is it makes
go
it
dump it.
if you want to do what's the keystone? The one that makes all your stats go to 0. That one. Like that one gets like super sexy for certain builds. Or like things like Brass Dome and like where like you would like you're sacrificing stats anyway to reduce something. Now it's just there's no downside to those type of builds or archetypes. Where it's just like, oh, I can all the stats that were already give me nothing, I can now just have tattoos there. So that feels really cool.
True.
So one big thing, like one big type of tattoo that they are reintroducing is the journey tattoos. So if you miss that out, like journey tattoos is the thing that you replace, let's say, a strength node and an int node, and for every one of those, you get like certain benefit, right? You replace 5, like I think 4 strength nodes, and you get like 100 life per each, right? They're obviously
Is it like a
scattered around the
stacking
tree.
one?
Yeah, it's the stacking one, right? So
I absolutely
people
blind.
are people are already like kind of hero crafting strong glass builds with that, so that's gonna be kind of end game.
Don't even
facet
expect
of
the
challenge.
tattoos to be rare. Do you guys think they're gonna be like incredibly rare or something? I feel like they're gonna be
Don't
pretty
think
easy
so.
to get.
I think like
Yeah.
catalyst rarity. That's what I'm expecting. Something similar to that.
You can even target them on the atlas, right? If you take more devoted modifier
Yes.
or devoted
Yeah, I
packs,
saw it.
you can kind of target farm it.
I think there was something that had it.
It's kind of weird to me how they bring an old league back, but again, it's temporary, right? Like they bring it back as
Yeah.
another league mechanic.
Well, it's like
Has it ever happened before?
Affliction basically removed from the game except for two small things. One of them is Nameless Seer has just been repurposed because I think it's just fun. It was pretty rare before. I'm assuming it'll be pretty rare now. There's a Scarab for it, but yeah, so that just has like a menu that gives you a fun unique. And then there's the new Keystone, which I actually have in my my league start tree.
It really
Thorough Exploration, which
sounds like suicide.
it's like such an so what it does is that if there's fewer than 50 mobs in the map, your boss gets empowered by wisps, right? But there's like a billion question marks for that sentence because number one, how many wisps? Is it all 3 types? Is it up to all 3 types? Is there any way to display on screen? We have previously we had on the bottom right, it said exactly how many of each wisp we had. Now, it didn't mean that was the amount in the enemy, but at least we had an idea. Like, we wouldn't be worried if the map had 2,000, but if it had 10,000 wisps, that boss is probably going to rail you, right? So we have no idea how many wisps it has. But that's like, to me, it's just like such a funky little little keystone, it seemed like I had to pick it up.
It sounds to me like we would do some unique farming with that, right? The 5
Oh,
times
yeah.
ghosted boss node plus
Oh
this.
yeah, that's my first thought.
It's gonna
Was
be
like
some things.
just a unrelenting torment plus that could be, and also there's other torment scarabs now that do cool things. So
I love some of the scarabs that we had. We honestly should like cover most of them. I mean, probably people already did that, but like there's so many fun ones. It's
Yep.
so many fun ones. I was like so excited for example, for ritual scarabs. I don't know. Like I'm not a big ritual fan, but like after I read the ritual scarabs, yep, I want to have a ritual.
Yep.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, I think a lot of these. There's like, I have a real question about the weighting also on these scarabs because they're all going to have different weightings. So I'm curious which ones are like going to be super rare versus super common, because that could also change how you want to go about them. Since there's no way to swap scarabs anymore since that was removed from Harvest. So it's going to be interesting.
I think my main takeaway from the whole scarabs is like the rework, right, about the system is we're gonna focus much more on one mechanic per map nowadays, right? Because we can use 4 ritual scarabs, for example, in the same map, 4 ultimatum scarabs. So like instead of trying to combine like multiple mechanics
Yeah.
or something, or never having time for like a mechanic, because I feel like every mechanic is gonna be super worth when you have all the scarabs fit, right?
Oh,
So
yeah. Yeah. If you go.
we're gonna do
Yeah.
if I have like 20 of each ritual scarab, I'm just gonna run ritual for like a day. I don't care how bad ritual is, right? It's gonna be fine with
for
all
sure.
of the scarabs, right? It
Yeah,
must be.
narrow and deep. That's the new PoE ideology. Is going to be the mechanic almost irrelevant. Narrow and deep. You could put 5 ritual scarabs on a map because it's limit 2, limit 1, limit 2.
You can't even harvest those away anymore too, which is kind of a cool thing, I think, for diversity in the end, because
Yeah.
instead of just feeling like, oh, I can't run this gilded scarab here, it's going to be a waste because I could be swapping it to divination or reliquary or something in the past. That's all gone. Now if you have
Yeah.
some nice ritual scarabs, you just run those, because what else can you do with them, right?
Chat's
Unless they're
mentioning
really so bad, it's not worth the time.
the 3-to-1 vendoring still exists, I assume, with like the Horizon Orb or whatever. There's that thing,
Yeah,
but
but that's a big downside.
you're
of
losing
3-to-1.
scarabs, and also the pool is massive. So even if it was just like, if I put in a Sulfite, a Divination, a Torment, I'm going to get a random scarab that's not going to be one of those 9 in that set. That's still like 60 scarabs. You're not going to hit the one you want on average. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it could still be good for mechanics where you really don't have any time for, like, I don't have time
Maybe,
to delve
yeah.
and do all your
Exactly,
things, right?
sure. But in that case, I think I would still rather just do what you're describing, which is take one of my beautiful 3 Atlas trees, spend the day, and be like, all right, I have 100 Torment and 100 Anarchy. I'm going to do Ghost Exile Day, and then do that,
exactly.
and then do the next thing the next day. And you're just going to get so much as a byproduct. 'Cause like what Legi said, Ritual might not be the most attractive thing to him, but if it has 200% increased favor, 200 more tribute, 4 free rerolls, like, it's a different dimension altogether. This feels like it's going to be like Mayhem League if you're doing the specific thing,
It's Mayhem League, and every day the mods change depending on which scarab.
Every day's my birthday. That's true.
It's great.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of, because also there's some combinations that get real fucky. So the thing I showed on the Reddit thing was that like one of the scarabs for Beyond was unique monsters create 8 to 12 portals, and you could add in your map like 40 exiles or something. So those are all unique monsters. And as long as you have the thing that says you can't spawn bosses on the keystone for Beyond, you're going to get so many Beyond mobs spawning, like hundreds of portals. So like there's things like that I'm sure there's some cool combinations you could pull off that might get super interesting.
There is one thing, one scarab that I think honestly is like the most insane thing I've ever seen in PoE. Like
the portal one?
The Legion. No, this one is like whatever. Who cares about that one?
The broken
Legion
multiple
one.
times.
The monsters can be broken from stasis multiple times. Like when I've seen that, it was like, what?
How many
is this?
times?
I don't know.
What does it mean?
Infinite times. It's infinite times. So how it works is
what?
Yeah, so every time you break a monster, they get like a life multiplier. So it's harder and harder to break them out of that one, right? So they if you can have infinite damage, you can break them infinite times and get infinite amount of rewards, right?
So you're saying maybe like some sort of large detonate dead that has prolift that may or may not be a popular league starter,
or just like big
explodey
just
any explosions,
big explodey BV that people do,
or just use 2 obliterations. You're probably good enough off of that. Yeah, that's pretty crazy sounding.
And you can combine, like speaking of combination, you can combine that with another Legion scarab, which says the Legion spawns like +5 sergeants.
Yep.
So that's +10 rare monsters. And you can break them multiple times.
And the Atlas tree still works.
Yep.
Right, that's not gone. Holy.
Yep.
So
it's just nuts.
And then, it's not the same, but like the same thing he's describing, like just another combination. The one Reliquary Scarab now says uniques in the area drop an additional unique. Well, we already established you can guarantee 40 to 50 exiles. So even if you have 0 unique investment, like you could have a tree that has no IQI or no nothing, you're just guaranteeing 40 uniques. Now, how early you could do this is like whatever, but there's like so many crazy combinations here that are like free as free can be. So it's like
fun.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of fun with like playing around with things. And what Mark said in an interview yesterday was also that we're gonna be surprised how plentiful the scarabs are. That's exactly the words that he described, right?
Well, the passive tree has so many scarab nodes. First off, like if people haven't really looked at it, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clusters of scarab nodes. Not to mention, half of the tree's small nodes are increased scarab drops. So it should be like, there's a reason the scarab tab is massive now. This is going to be basically like a Legacy League. You're going to have stones everywhere. Just having a grand old time.
I mean, if they wanted to make Legacy 2.0, this is probably what Legacy 2.0 would look like.
Where's my 6-month league? I'm ready.
Well, too bad. PoE 2 got delayed. That would have been a good...
Too bad. It's too great. Yeah, it was. You can just
it's not even a league.
Make the league. They can make this league go until PoE 2 begins. We'll just play Necropolis till the end of our days. Do you want to? Have you even looked at the scarabs fully yet, Manny? Do you want to like look at them?
I'm just kind of like browsing through them while we're talking.
We can just go from the top down. So the Reliquary Scarabs got changed to where, again, like legally, we had Winged Scarab was 250% increase, so now it's 100% for that same MF Scarab. It's a nerf, but again, it's nestled around things that I don't think there's going to be a problem getting uniques with this new set of scarabs.
Yeah, tons of strats, right, that we can do. Like the big Legion farm or whatever. Like I'm sure there's tons of strats that shit out uniques. Like
yeah. The Nameless Seer one. So Nameless Seer and Affliction. Correct me if I'm wrong. It ate all your wisps, and then you get to pick one thing. And from my perspective, it almost always had a tier 1 unique or higher. I don't know if that was based off of wisp count, or was it just always that? But it almost always had a tier 1 unique. Were your guys' experience similar with Nameless Seer?
Yeah, I think so. It was at least like 1 or 2 tier 1 or tier 2 uniques. So like if they didn't change it, then yeah, it's pretty much spawned you to get a good unique.
Yep.
I mean, he's probably going to be way more common next league than he was during.
During it was
league, probably.
I went days without finding him easily. Yeah.
So, a general question, like there are no tiers of scarabs anymore, but they said some scarabs are rarer than others, right? So I guess they're like individually weighted now. You know, they probably just
pretty much.
That's how I interpreted it.
Waiting on depending how strong they are. And I'm assuming the winged and gilded looking ones, right? The fancier they look, it probably indicates that they're rarer. It doesn't mean they have the same rarity as other winged looking ones, but surely
the power level looks like it reflects that. I would say, like just reading what they do, it looks like that kind of reflects that. And then there's the horned ones at the bottom, which are like I think supposed to be like the super powered ones.
So I would expect this Nameless Seer one to be pretty rare, but it's not going to be the rarest scarab in the game, surely, right? It doesn't even have this winged look. So
interesting you mention that, because even if we go 2 sets down to Divination, the Reliquary one has what was Rusted, Polished, Gilded, but Divination goes Rusted, Gilded, Winged as far as what we're talking about, the arbitrary rarity. So I'm assuming that's probably a similar thing where the first 2 are like relatively common, and then the last one would be much more rare, if anything, than what would be the Nameless Seer rarity, because it's of a higher looking, and its relative power level kind of looks like that makes sense, where its div cards have a chance to drop as full stacks. That should have a higher like power level, I guess, than just finding a Nameless Seer. So that kind of is in line with what we're talking about.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's mostly exactly in line. It's like you know, if something feels like powerful and gonna be like OP, then probably gonna be rare. And like it's confirmed that all the scarabs drop everywhere, right? It's just there's no like specific content you need to do scarabs.
I don't even think they admit. I'm pretty sure a tier 1 map could drop the rare scarab. It's just going to be probably not likely, I assume is the case.
Yeah, Yeah, pretty much. Exactly. So you can just drop the best card from, literally T1 mob.
The delve ones really just give you more sulfite, which makes sense.
A lot more than before, though. Isn't this 150 more? Isn't this winged equivalent? Or even more,
winged
right?
It's more than winged.
Yeah, winged was 80 or 100%.
I think it was 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think it's more. Yeah.
That's a ton of sulfite.
Yeah, and also Nico. So, like you mentioned earlier with Betrayal, you could have a 100% chance to spawn all of the previous masters now. So you could guarantee Nico on all your maps. And I think there's been a couple of pictures of this for the Atlas strategy, but it's just worth mentioning that if you were kind of leery about playing, I don't know, just whatever, about pathing this league, there's the one node, where is it? Packed with Energy, that gives you max res, damage, and movement speed. You could have, for I think 30 points in your starting tree, have a 100% chance to get Nico in your map, meaning you could have these buffs active 100% of the time for every map you do, if you wanted them.
You still have to find them inside the map, right? When I start the map.
Correct, yeah. So it might not be right next to where you start, but the second you hit your first sulfite, yeah, that's active. So if you want to do that, but again, it's like, to delve, to get all that delve, it is a meme strat. Yeah.
It's going to be a viable strat for the 17s, I think, though, right? Like if you're doing your first couple of
it's free buffs,
and you're worried about doing it.
Oh yeah, yep.
Atlas works.
Yeah,
Totally.
definitely.
Same for the Einhar, right? Einhar,
yeah,
you can also
Einhar Huck.
support
Yeah. For those who really don't know, if you did the Huck thing we're talking about specifically is kind of a meme, but when Huck accompanies you after your first focus cache, he has all the buffs on him that you give him from his items. So you could just get free grace or haste and determination you can give him or something. There's also another buff.
It's mostly about a buff that he gives you independently of his items.
Yeah,
he gives you like a battle ready or combat ready buff that just gives you, I think it's similar to adrenaline. Yeah. I think it's like % damage, speed, and damage reduction too, I think.
Yeah, 100% increased damage.
And then Einhar, you get the boy also. Where's the Einhar one? Mighty Hunter. You can have your best friend Einhar with you, who gives you a vitality aura, and then something else maybe. He gives you some amount of regen.
It's a leech and regen or something, like sustain related things.
And legally he snares things, so maybe he could snare a T17 boss, which would be a meme. But yeah, you get the double boyfriend strats. You get all your big boys with you.
Yeah, it's companion.
Exactly. The divination scarabs, the top end I guess is lower from the increased rates per area was 250 now to 150, but the other.
But you can use 2 of them, right? Do you guys
yes,
the wording is now increased instead of more?
Yeah, interesting.
It's just a fix, probably, right? I don't think it changes anything.
I mean, yeah, the more it increases the same, it's pretty much so they don't multiply each other, right? If it was 100% more, 100% more, they would multiply together, right? So it would be pretty bad.
It's funny because the sulfite one still says more, but it's not a drop. It's a flat value that's, I guess, scaling up. But it's just that one says more than
I think it's kind of
limit one, though. Yeah,
sulfite one, right? If you had a limit of 2, it probably
no.
Would say
but the I think the enraging, the fumes guy, that one, the monsters that from the 3rd scarab, I'm pretty sure those and the ones from the Atlas Passive Tree, those have increased rates of sulfite independently. So then the more would be. I mean, it doesn't really fucking matter because it's delve. You'll hit the cap anyway in 3 maps, but I think those probably combine better. The
kind of actually wonder if these fumes monsters would be any good. It sounds so bad on first read.
Increase IQ. Yeah, I don't know.
They have 3 packs per map.
Yeah.
The fumes are just capped by, the monsters spawn you around fumes, so it's gonna be just a big meme, so it's not very good, I think.
The second divination scarab is the one that the divination scarabs in the area are replaced by those on your favorite maps. So if you have full favorite slots for Crimson Temple, you could run Strand and then get Mageblood cards to drop. That's the meme.
I mean, the thing is the meme you're saying is just getting as many bouts of good cards and just multiplying it with the other cards, right? So you run this card with double div and just get shitload of all the good cards, right? So that's what you want to do.
I mean, so you can have 300% increased divination drops from the first scarab twice, and then this thing gives another 120% more multiplicative.
Yep.
So you end up with that's almost 7 times the cards, right?
Yep.
300% increase times 100, 4. Yeah, it's 4 times 2.2.
And they have a 20% chance to drop as a full stack. Yeah.
But then you don't have any other mechanics in the map to actually juice the map is the problem, right?
No, you have one more scarab slot. This is 4 scarabs.
No, you're gonna use 2 divination. The first one you use twice.
Yeah, but that's 4. You have 5 scarab slots. Oh no, sorry, you're right.
You
Duh,
can put a
lol.
map in too.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, fair. Speak for yourself. My thing is 6 slots. I get all the slots. I got this. I get, the advanced supported pack. The new Keurig pack is extra slot.
I guess it's a trade-off, right? You have to find the right, the sweet spot. How many difficult scarabs do you use, and how many other scarabs do you use to like actually get monsters in your map?
Yep.
Also, I assume the completion one, it looks like a winged. I'm assuming it's very rare. And for us as SF enjoyers, we probably can't sustain the full package, right? We're gonna have a bottleneck of one of these. And
yeah, but you would just do it like you described. But you have 4 of these. You wait to have all the others, and just pick at some time, and then just do the full thing.
Yeah, but if the creation one is say twice as common as the completion one, then half the time you can combine it with something different, right?
Yeah, but then you drop 1 apothecary and you cry that it wasn't full stacked.
Oh, well,
I don't want to cry,
leave
man.
those scarabs in your tap and don't use them.
No, I'm just gonna cry.
Else instead,
I'm gonna cry all day long.
So, I think people probably have done signs on this by now, but is it gonna be good to like literally favorite like every single good card in the game, or is it actually gonna dilute the pool?
I think Snap made a video about it, so it's pretty much like you kinda wanna put as many good cards as possible, really. Like it doesn't really matter that much with how the div card drop rates work.
The way that's the way it's worded means it's not going to be adding additional weighted rolls if you have the same map more than times, except for like the 10% gets 20%, but it's not like you won't get twice as many apothecaries.
Let's say the TLDR is like the dilution is less impactful than just adding card stipple. That's the TLDR. So you want to add card stipple.
Are there 12
the dilution
maps
of
even
bot
though?
things? It doesn't really matter.
So
yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, right? But the dilution is not like it's not like it drops card first and then it decides which card it drops, but it dilutes like the entire drop pool, right? So
yes, correct. So like you have like gigantic like weight of all the items and then adds cards at the end, right?
Yeah.
So even if you add something like Reign of Chaos that has like a gigantic weight, it's still nothing in comparison to all the other items in the game, like all the gear and gems and whatever it does, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So this is just gonna be absolutely fucking bonkers, isn't it?
Probably.
Yes, it's gonna be stupid with the like map effect. It's just gonna be dumb. So I think MF got severely buffed.
Even if you just take like a doctor card and a doctor map and an apothecary map together, you would already like double the chances of getting a tink, right? Of getting a big card.
Yeah. I honestly feel like they probably like kind of wanted this in conjunction with, in a way, like these are all introduced post affliction, so I think they kind of had a little bit of that affliction withdrawal in mind, and also they increasing the base rate of like Headhunter Mageblood by 2.5 also feels like this is probably in line with the amount of multipliers that are being added to the other ways to get Headhunter Mageblood after that league.
Yeah.
So I think they're kind of like, I feel like we're probably going to have, I don't say a similar rate, but probably a similar rate, and if not better, if you're like super crafty in how you go about it, probably get just more loot than affliction if you go like definitely more narrow and deep.
There's no way you get nearly as much currency drops.
No, or like you don't get a Reliquary of Elders per map, but
better, right?
But yeah, like targeted thing though, this seems like much more. Again, like narrow and deep. Like if you want to pick what you want to do, and it's like you could really go into it.
God, it's gonna be so fun to farm this. I can't wait. Like imagine how many good cards you're gonna find, like Divine Orb cards and
sure.
Like it's gonna be hard to even find 12 maps that you want to favorite or probably that have good cards, because how many cards are there really that you care about?
Well, that's where it comes like
unique jewels to the pool as an SSF enjoyer, right? Like
is there any benefit to specific picking 2 maps that have the same div card set? In this, I didn't think there was, based on how we're describing it. Like you wouldn't pick Crimson Temple and also Defiled Cathedral because if they each drop, that wouldn't be like twice as many apothecaries.
Pick one, yes. Yeah, that's correct. You just pick one.
Yeah, so then I don't know how the fuck I would get 12. I'd get up to 12 maps at that point, but they're just probably just generic maps that have good things. Oh, actually, another question. So if you ran that, and then if you ran Twist of Fate, what happens?
Nothing really. I mean,
Twist of Fate just random layout, right?
Random layout, yeah, and changes.
It doesn't mess with any of the div card stuff, or the.
In whatever layout you random into, you also find those cards now, right? No, you don't. They're completely replaced by the favorite maps.
Yeah. Oh, they are yeah, totally replaced. Okay.
So whatever map you run doesn't actually matter. Only
Got
like
it,
12 in your favorites matter.
Just trying to think outside the box, you know. The Torment Scarabs, even just the first one seems pretty powerful if the situation, like just adding 20 ghosts to a map, depending on the map, if you're doing like Exile stuff especially, because there's like a lot of base Exile stuff that could be good. 20 ghosts is a lot of fucking ghosts. I don't know. It feels like it's a lot of ghosts.
I love this for farming 84 clusters, right?
Yeah.
That's up to 20 unique monsters right there for a Scarab that you probably find often.
I kind of feel like the 84 cluster are going to be kind of free with Delirium on T17.
Yeah.
So you're just going to get 2 84s every...
True. Guaranteed T17. Oh, yeah.
So I think it's like kind of whatever, honestly. Yeah, it's good though. I'm happy that those are much more...
I'm glad it was like limit 4, just so they, you know, they let to be like, if you want to ghost out, have fun. Torment Spirits replace the unusual variants. I assume that means like Gravedigger and things like that, like the Sextant ones.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Wait, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Gravedigger is a guaranteed league-specific unique, and there's a lot of good ones.
That
in
also,
there, like
again, like that says Tormented Spirits are replaced. Not there's a chance. It's just they are replaced. And there's like, I think 3 or 4 unusual ones. So if you could add 15 ghosts and then put that on, that's 15 unusual ghosts.
Yeah.
And if you pick and especially if you pick a piece of content you're running that has like if your tree has essence or just has like a lot of rare mobs in general, you know, that seems really good. The third one is they have a 25% chance to be set free when the monster's slayed. So you have a 25% chance that they just go back out there. That one to me seems kind of whatever. I don't know. I don't really like that much. Like,
yeah,
to be the rarest one in that set,
that
seems
seems free. Like there won't be another rare to go into usually, right? Because the ghosted rare is the last thing that dies usually.
Unless it said like it possesses, I don't know how. Unless it like it transfers to the boss, they have to do something that's more set in stone. Because you could set it free when you kill the mob, and then your residual damage could kill the spirit instantly or something like that. So
I think they also made them more tanky in the patch notes, didn't they?
They've been doing that for years. That never is enough. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that one is a bit disappointing. Like it's hard to find a use for this, right? Because you would have to have like maybe with Beyond and a new like rare spawns after you kill that, and then they can go into that.
You still have to hold off though. I think it's like it's random, and you still have to like temper your damage to not just. I don't know.
I'm not really worried about killing them after when they come out. I'm more worried about them having anything to go into.
Well, I guess this is extra good if you have the keystone, because they would just go into you.
Yeah,
like,
well, I think that's a combination.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right, yeah, true.
The Anarchy one seems really fun though. I like those a lot. Even just the first one.
I love them.
Just having the 4 extra exiles so you can do 4 times, great. That second one though, if you've not seen what this does, there's the Valdez map. It gives giant rogue exiles.
They split into like 2 and then into 4, right?
Yeah.
They're like a.
That one I like.
Russian dolls.
Yeah, the Matryoshka dolls. There you go. Exactly. Those are extra funny. And the gilded one seems really strong with the tree, because I think you reach 100%, right? I'm pretty sure the tree gets to. I think
obviously, whenever you run this, you go ghosted exiles on the tree, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
And then all of these are going to be ghosted. That's going to be juicy. Yeah. But you kind of have to combine it with like reliquary as well, right? So you can't really go full anarchy package to I think.
You can go. There's also anarchy on the Keurig device, though. So you could do a couple more exiles there. They always come in pairs.
The sweet spot, right? Like, what's the perfect combination there?
100% additional.
I think with all those scarabs, I'm going to mention that right now. I think the implicit mobs are very important in this league. I think they are more important than they were before.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, but how do you farm them without the Wandering Paths thread, right?
I think you just buy them from Keurig, man. You get like 26% chance for Keurig mission and just fucking buy them.
Yep.
Chaos. It's fine.
Yep.
So instead of Sexton rolling, we're now going to be rolling for hundreds of Keurig missions, buying out the shop.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was already doing that in Affliction just to buy chisels and like sextants in the beginning. Just keep rerolling the shop.
I mean, my idea was we just do shadow shaping and find random 16s and horizon them. But then I looked at the horizon to 16s this league.
Bad.
And then I thought, maybe next league.
Yeah, that's fucking... Yeah, not great. Ritual ones, like you mentioned, these are actually like super sexy, I think.
I love them so much. I absolutely love
Rerolling with no cost for the first 2 times and allowing additional reroll and the stacks twice. You get at 6 rerolls or 7?
Sextant, right? Wasn't this just the sextant, the selectiveness one, the
It's
first
buffed
one?
actually.
It's a buff section that
This-
stacks twice now. So it's
Yeah.
it's you get in total you'll get what 6 or 7 rerolls and no it's or
4 of them are free.
4 of them are free and there's 5 rerolls if you have the tree, including the first page. So it's just like seeing so much. Like that's seeing a tremendous amount of items that are
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy to
all
me.
trash.
Yeah, all trash. Well, I mean, the best way to get synth bases in the game is basically doing heist and ritual. So if you're looking for synth bases, it might be okay.
Yeah, good for Uber at Zeri too.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like this one is super fun because it just cuts a lot of time doing ritual. Like doing ritual is like whatever, but like you just juice the ritual and you just spend not a lot of time to get a lot of windows. Yeah, so I think that's a lot. It's really fun. You know,
What's
that's
awkward
why I
about
like this
ritual
map a
though
lot.
is you can't use these scarabs at the same time as you use the vessels, right? 'Cause they count as scarabs too, basically, right? Or they take a slot
I
in the
doubt
device.
that. No, they take a slot, that's for sure.
Hey,
But
they
I
take
doubt
a slot,
they.
that's what I mean.
So you could use 3 of them. You could use the first 3, which are allegedly the most common, right? So you get additional tribute or whatever. 2 of those, a vessel and a map. That's probably all you need, honestly.
Yeah, I think like you use 1 or 2 like a vessel and that's good. But like
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
just
know,
saying it's a
it's kinda
shame
fun.
we can't do like we can't save up 4 vessels, have a giga ritual, and then also buff it with scarabs. We have to decide either
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
we go one or the other, right? It's a bit sad.
Yep. That's okay. Harvest one is interesting because it was mentioned in chat also, but there's like a lot of these scarabs don't guarantee the mechanic to occur, right? So that's where the ritual blood vessel is extra important. But for the harvest one, the most common scarab just says area contains a sacred grove.
Yeah.
So that's
But
one of the ones
you
that
can just if you're farming ritual, you're gonna do ritual atlas, right? And then
correct. Yeah.
you can just pick up 100% ritual chance anyway,
Yep.
because all of these are buffed to 100% now.
Which honestly, because of that, the harvest scarab is kind of shit in a weird way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
useless.
what I'm
It's
Which is
absolutely
like you would never. The value of a scarab, looking on this list, is much more than whatever 6 or 7 chaos. And if that's how much harvest costs, whatever, that's like kind of shitty. That this was like, I don't know why they just didn't tag on something like area contains a harvest 50% increased life force. Like just something so at least has a use.
I mean, the equivalence of like Abyss is fine, right? Because you can have multiple Abysses in the map.
Yeah.
It's still good. But like Expedition, Blight, Sacred Grove, these things that don't stack, they don't really need to have a scarab, and you can already guarantee them the Atlas anyway.
And then the second
Those
harvest
scarabs are
scarab,
going to be useless.
the second one's just duplicate life force.
Sexton,
100%.
right?
It's just which is
That's
good.
what the
It's
Sexton used to
just
Awesome, yeah.
but yeah. And then the third one is it guarantees boss.
Oh, lay. 1 additional T4 of each type.
Oh, of each. I didn't read that part. Okay, sorry. That's even better. Well, that's actually it's
T4
better,
seats.
but yeah, well, up to 3 T4 because if it's kind of a little awkward,
get
right? 'Cause
unlucky,
if you
you
were
might get-
if you were trying to farm one specifically, you might not have all 3 types, but
But yeah, I mean, you would always, because this one is probably rarer than the second harvest scarab, right? So we
Oh, yeah,
always
yeah.
combine them.
Yeah.
For every cornucopia scarab you have, you're going to have a doubling scarab.
Mhm.
So you're going to have essentially 6 bosses worth of life force there.
yep. And then the Atlas tree still works, which has
Yeah.
stuff on it.
Chance
So.
to duplicate and
Yep.
all of that stuff. That sounds like you're going to get 10k life force out of one map.
Yeah, I have no idea. If someone's asking in chat about crop rotation, I don't think it probably wouldn't bypass it. Like it would still. I don't know if that'd work.
Yeah, but it would probably just break it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It's just break completely.
Like chat saying easy
Shut
bear
up.
belt. I killed I think 22 bears last week and never got the belt. So eat my ass. Thank you.
I got on
Respectively.
the first one.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I gave a shout out
superior German engineering. I never got to play my Cleave of Rage fully, and then they fucking nerfed it, which is so stupid. I'll get into that later. I'm so tilted. Some of the skill changes tilt me into the fucking moon, where it's like DD doesn't get nerfed, Bone Shatter doesn't get nerfed, but then like Exsanguinate it gets nerfed. I'm like, okay. I
One of
digress.
those bestiary scarabs. 5 additional per scarab. You can have 10 extra red beasts.
I know.
Yeah, it's literally two wing scarabs.
Well,
Or,
it's
you know,
it's
just
actually
do
even
more
worse. It will better if you keep reading because the next one's create a copy of each beast in the area. So it's like 20 red beasts that are copied, and then the next one is even funnier, which is air contains Black Morgan. Which what does that even mean for this? Because what is he going to do?
I think it's like some kind of special crafts. Mark like hinted there's gonna be like some new crafts with that guy. So maybe. Like,
Yeah.
people were speculating it's gonna be keep prefix, keep suffix. That's the
That's pretty
speculation
cool.
I've heard.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, Bestiary is really good though. I like Bestiary with these scarabs.
Yeah.
I mean, it just means beast farming is going to be so much faster, right?
Yeah.
Which is great because there's so many new strats. So, I want to do like 70 different Atlas strats next league, and one of them is going to be beast farming. And now the beast farming is going to be 3 times faster because we get 10 per map.
Oh yeah.
Sounds great to me.
Especially if you're trying to look for like a lot of if you're trying in SSF, you're gunning for like useful T2 tier 1 uniques that might be a little bit annoying to get in maps. Like for me, I want to get Cloak of Defiance early on. I'll probably just do beasts to get like to target that along with like specific helmets and weapons and stuff. Because you get so many red beasts with these things. Even just the Atlas tree after the change is like pretty crazy. A lot of cool stuff there. So next section is a new section, being influencing, and I think this is add Shaper, add Elder, influence packs have 40% increased pack size.
This one's super exciting.
That one's crazy.
Very, very exciting.
And then 14s have a chance to drop as all the different bosses.
But yeah, it doesn't mention what the chance is, if it's 1 or 50%.
Yeah,
who knows?
I would like to mention about the influence and scrap, right? So you have to think about what influence packs are, right? So it's
Eater Exarch,
the Conqueror map, Eater Exarch, so that's first layer. Conqueror, Elder with Shaper, that's another layer. And then also another layer could be League Mechanic, right? So you can replace packs in your map with influence packs, right? So you can stack this as well. So it's pretty cool that you can, like literally with this one scarab, get 40% pack size for free.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for free for a scarab.
GGG employees don't want you to know this one simple trick to make your maps juiced. 40% pack size increased for free.
So, I mean,
free.
This could be a good strat for the diff card farming, right? Because we only have like 1 scarab available for the diff card farming. Maybe instead of boxes, then you take a Conqueror map and use this.
Yep. Hard to beat 40 pack size. That's an absurd amount for those who don't realize. If you could like really add a large amount of influence mobs, like that's a lot of pack size.
So why is that important? Is honestly because like if you didn't realize that the meta of like finding items in the game and like especially div cards changed quite a bit, right? Because they removed the Enraged Stormboxes, right? So now we are trying to increase the quantity and like the amount of innate monster that spawn in maps, right? So this is through map modifiers increase and then through pack size, right? So that's what it's very important. That's why the pack size scarabs or like some kind of magic scarab conversion, those things are really good. So that's why make sure to not waste this scarab especially.
The scarab would also mean you get more altars, right? Because you would spawn more Exarch monsters and Eater monsters. Therefore, you get the altars earlier into the map.
That is true.
Yeah.
Pretty big.
Good stuff.
So you just mentioned ambush. I haven't read that yet, actually. Is there no enrage anymore? Well, I guess we'll get to that. Let's continue.
Yeah.
Harbinger.
Harbinger is the first one's add 3 Harbingers and it's limit 4. So that's a bunch more Harbingers. The next one is Harbingers drop rare currency, and then Harbingers drop a single type of currency shard, that one's kind of weird. I guess that means if you like hit fracturing, it's all fracturing. But if you don't, then you have no chance of getting fracturing. Like if it could just be nothing but alterations. So that's a bit of a double-edged sword.
I mean, the second line basically doesn't do anything on average, right?
No.
It just makes it mega gambly.
Yeah, it just
I guess what it kind of does is it saves you a lot of time. In fact, like because you're just gonna check first mob, you're gonna drop something, and like if it's garbage, then you move on.
Oh, it's every single Harbinger in the entire
in area. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. When you hit, someone is gonna hit the fucking mirror shot Harbinger.
Yes.
It's gonna get like 17 mirrors.
Yep.
Wait, what?
I mean, you're not going to see it really, but I think the more applicable one would be like, it says Harbingers in area drop a single type. The way it's worded,
Each Harbinger is going to drop a single type, right?
Yes. So it's literally one type of shard per map, like if you use that scrap load.
I don't think so. Are you sure?
You think so? Yeah, wait.
Harbingers in area drop
a single type. But each Harbinger still has their own type.
No,
right?
but it would say each Harbinger then if it's if each one dropped a different type of single shard, it would say each Harbinger though. It wouldn't just say Harbingers.
Mark said blah, but also he said that like Legi gave the example of the fracturing shard. He himself, the lead dev said, if you hit fracturing shard, you're gonna just get fracturing shards and tear them up. So pretty much, I would say that it works like that.
That's crazy for like even just ancient orbs, which is like probably much more common to actually hit off of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That means you get like 30 ancient orbs.
Are great too.
Yeah, sure.
You will get so many of them.
Annuls,
but, how often is that really going to happen? I mean, the first line also makes them rarer, I guess. We don't know how much rarer. But if you like look at kill a couple of Harbingers now, right, and click Alt, there's going to be like 5 transmutes or 100 shards there or something on the ground. And
think of all the wisdom scrolls
you can
really
get,
hard to actually hit the a lot of wisdom scrolls.
I think it's going to be a net nerf, but it's going to be fun.
But the nut. Think of the nut. I'm really curious.
On average, it should not matter, right? On average, it shouldn't change anything. But
well, no. At average, it'll still be better.
It's so damn rare that you can run hundreds of maps and never get a hit, and then
it'll still be better on average because the first line.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Than not using it. Is it better than just having an extra 3? I don't know. That's hard to say. The third one has a 50% chance to make them all replaced by bosses, and you can run 2 and 3 together. But
don't you have a 25 on the 3 already, right?
Yes, for the large
the same
node.
Wording? Yeah, so you have 75% chance for them to be Uber hobbies.
Good. And the last one just says currency shards dropped are duplicated.
Oh, dude. I can already tell you how many GFL clips we're going to see.
Yeah.
Where people hit the nuts on this, with duplicated and only fracture shards, and it just rains down things everywhere.
Yeah. And you can obviously have Harbinger from your Atlas and Harbinger on the Keurig, right?
Yeah.
And then there's also
it's awkward though, right?
Harbinger
because you can't run like a winged Harby to get like 7 from one Scarab anymore. So now you're gonna do the second, the third, the fourth one, right? You have 1 Scarab slot left for the normal Harbinger Scarab. So you only have +3.
Then the map device adds what, 3?
Yeah, so you're very much reliant
4,
on the
1 extra on
there.
tree. And then there's the implicits.
You need the Harby implicit real bad.
Which is 6.
Exactly. Like Harby implicit is so important.
Is that 6 or how many is that?
3.
It's 3,
okay.
But it's a map modifier, so it's buffed
scaled up. Yeah, I'm saying it, but it goes to 5 then at the most if you had all the map stuff?
No, you can have like 6 or 7 now, right? You can have a shit ton of map effect now.
So that means in total you'll have 11 or 12 Harbingers that have a 75% chance to be bosses that have duplicate drops, and then they're just going to drop a transmutation. You're going to cry.
I mean, it's the same theme as earlier with the ritual, right? It's just you save up a bunch of these, and once you have the combo going, then you run it for like an afternoon.
I think the ritual is a lot more obtainable of a thing, but yeah.
Why? Why do you think so?
Because
the
ritual
doesn't have like a winged looking one.
That's my point, is the ritual doesn't have a winged one, and the last one you could probably just not use if you didn't have to. Since if you're looking for one item, you're looking at 5 menus for free, and you can only buy 1 or 2 things that really matter, versus like, this is so all-in feeling. And also, like, if there's 11 Harbingers in the map and the first one drops trans, you really can't skip them because they're everywhere. Like, you're still going to want to kill them for, like, the actual loot they drop.
I mean, deep into the endgame, is just leaving our next map.
I guess, yeah.
But earlier, I guess you wouldn't want to waste it.
No. Pretty cool, though. I could see some nice stuff happen there. Abyss is, what were you going to say?
It's just so awkward, right? Because you really want to use the rarer currency shard line from the second one always.
Yeah.
But I don't really want to do the gambling. Let me get normal drops, please.
What a baby.
Gamba.
Oh.
Gamba.
Okay.
Abyss. We just left the biggest Abyss league of all time.
I'm so tired of it. I don't want it anymore. I need to from Abyss.
I'm gonna TLDR this. Those cards are fucking garbage.
That was my thoughts also. They didn't seem very good. The best one seemed like the first one and the second one. Like if you were... So the first one is an additional Abyss. The second one is 75% increased monsters. The third one's dropping Abyss sockets, which I think is a total meme. And then the last one's... It does not lead to a depth in... Well, sorry. If they do not lead to a depth or a spire, they lead to a horde, which I think is just the tree stuff, right?
I would say, like, I think I didn't underestimate the last one because, like, you can combine this with the 6 mode 6 mod node on the Atlas tree, right? So because like the current gilded scarab don't leave the hordes when like the thing moves, right?
Oh, he's just
And
built
this
from last
leaves
week, yeah.
Oh, so
and
you get
then
tons
this-
of hordes and then more 6
Yeah.
mod jewels. Yeah, that could be
pretty
cool.
much. I think that's really good use of it, but other than that, it's like
I think the first two
okay.
seem really good though for just like experience and just mobs to kill, like additional abyss and then 7 or 150%.
Honestly, I think you don't even
monsters.
need the normal abyss scarab. You just go to the extra pack size one twice, and then you get the abysses from the implicit, because you can get like a +3 abyss implicit, right? Or is it +2?
Yep.
But you can get way more abysses there than. And then you still have 2 scarab slots remaining for like relic.
Not for nothing, but like I wouldn't recommend going past 4 abyss anyway, because I swear to God they're just not going to spawn.
True.
So I'd rather have like 2 or 3 abyss that are better than like, you know.
I'm kind of intrigued by the whole like 6 mod jewels thing, though, because that's been a thing for like a year now, right? And it was always just so bad it wasn't even worth bothering with.
Yeah.
Maybe that's finally a viable thing. Could be fun to hunt those jewels, you know.
Yeah.
I think it's viable with this scarab. I didn't think about it at first, but like now that I think about it, yeah, it's actually pretty good. I think we're gonna get quite a bit of them now with this one.
Yeah. You've seen the essence ones. I think the essence ones. They showed a lot of stuff in the essence for the Atlas tree, and it looked like a lot of it got nerfed as they kept showing stuff. And then I see the scarabs, and now it makes sense that why they nerf stuff in the tree.
It makes sense, yeah.
So just like the first one's limit 4 adding essence, which alone is quite nice. The next one they are of a higher tier, and then
wait. So hold on.
Yeah.
There's an Atlas passive to make them at least shrieking, right?
Yes.
It says
Yes.
you're gonna have at least a shrieking on every essence.
Yeah.
It's just one. Hold on, let me read.
Just
again.
one though. It's not all of them, I don't think.
Okay, so every essence monster in the map has at least one shrieking in it,
Yeah.
right?
And then this one says essences are a higher tier. So this applies to every
And now
essence.
deafening.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's guaranteed
So
deafening
it's
with
guaranteed
that one.
deafenings on each one. Yeah. And then the next one
love
says using a remnant can only result in upgrading or transforming. So that if you transforms, it just changes. It doesn't necessarily mean it transforms into one of the 4 special ones. It just means it could change from one to another or upgrading.
Well, there's 2 transformations, right? Either it transforms into like a higher tier.
Yeah.
As in, I guess what do we call tier? It can go shrieking to deafen. No, that's
that's
basically,
upgrading.
right?
No.
And transforming always upgrades. Like if you have a scorn and you hit transform outcome, then it's always going to be a special one.
Yeah, but
Yes.
there's also like transform from one type to another. Like
Yeah.
you can transform, let's say, some kind of essence to different essences as well. So
Yeah.
there's also this transform, which is not that good.
Yeah, but
in
no,
essence.
that doesn't exist.
It does. What do you mean?
Well, yeah.
But the one that transforms into a random other one, that always makes them one. Tier is the wrong word, but you know how there's like categories? The ones that started. There's a categories of 4 each, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's the scorn and whatnot. That those 4, and then when those get to transform, they always become the special ones. They
When those
can't
do, yeah.
turn into
Yeah.
something worse.
Yeah, the scorn, the purple one, or purple and pink
But
ones,
you
yeah.
can, yeah, but you can also like transform normal essence into like, I don't know, let's say suffering essence or something like that. The ones on the right, like there's
But you can't make a scorn into a suffering. That doesn't
No,
happen.
no.
scorn not, but like non-scorn essence, like
You
those
could make
4
a
we always
strength
transform.
essence into an int essence. That's still a transformation.
Sure. But yeah,
Yeah.
but I was assuming we have a scorn present in the first place.
Then
Otherwise,
yes,
of course,
it'll
we
always
can't
do
hit a
And
horror,
yes,
right?
yes, you're right, 100%.
If it chooses transform, it could just
I
upgrade
mean,
it.
you can tell when you click an essence, you can tell what the transformation outcome will be. It's like what the 4 options are, right?
Yeah,
Like if I see a suffering, I know if it hits the transform outcome, I know it will be one of the next 4 on the essence tab.
and
I don't have them in my head.
since
right
the
now, but-
stability one
Oh,
also
okay.
says upgrade or transform, but if it was already a deafening, it can't upgrade, so it has to transform also. Not that you'd want to do that probably, but if you had a scorn that was deafening, the only outcome would then be to transform it into like insanity or whatever. Because it can't upgrade. It has to. So if the options are transform or upgrade, if it can't upgrade, it has to transform if possible.
Yeah, so if like a
Yes.
scorn is present, then it will become a special one, yeah.
Yep. And then the last.
I don't know
yeah.
if this is even good, like always, right? Because
Well-
if you're looking for, say, bow essences, I don't think you want to use this one.
No, it probably wouldn't
No.
be worth the risk. No.
It's probably
But-
mostly for hunting the special
Yeah.
ones. I mean, if you're hunting for like loafing or seal, like those are the tier just before Scorn, right? So
honestly, all of it's kind of moot. I just think you'd rather just harvest them. Like if you had a bunch of, I'd rather just get more deafenings than harvest them into the one I want. Ultimately, right?
I mean, I'm just saying there could be a strat now, right? Like let's say you're looking for loafing essences, and it could be better instead of farming harvest to use this scarab, and then you search for, instead of looking for Scorn and Misery and so on, right? You're now looking for the 4 that lead into loafing. Let me open up the game real quick and look at the essence tab.
Yeah, I think it's like doubt and okay. I didn't know it works like that, Manni. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're looking for like doubt, suffering, wrath, and something. One of those at the bottom.
Yep.
Or like strength essence, I think. One of those. So yeah, that's a strat. Very cool. And then, the next
they want to have like
essence,
5 different ranks. Go into the ones that have 4 different ranks. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry. Let's continue.
The last one is insane. That's the most important thing, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly why I wanted to get to that one. This one is
all rare monsters are imprisoned by essences.
And they respect the atlas and everything still?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the flavor text on it.
The crystals can spread. Yeah, they'll have flavor text if you didn't see, which is funny. That was definitely just some fucking intern's job. Or they maybe just use ChatGPT for that one. But it's just like, they all have their own flavor text. All rare monsters are imprisoned by essence. This is kind of goofy, because there's like a lot of... I'm trying to think of like a situation. So if you had Necropolis rares in a map that are like, whatever, Necropolis ghosted, or just ghosted from like Seance, those are also then imprisoned. This also just makes the map, I think, much more difficult in a weird way. It's like Monstrous Treasure, but like with souped up mods. Because they still have all their stuff. Like all the beasts, like if you hit Great Migration or something, you would have 30 packs of beasts that are all become essences, right? Or all frogs that have become essences.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, yeah, but only the like monsters that are innate to the map, like, the natural occurring monsters like that spawn with the map.
Oh, it's only natural mobs. Okay, that makes it a lot more tame then. All right.
But that's why you want to, scale pack size to get the more packs in that regards. And there's like some other scarabs at the that can buff that as well. But yeah, it's still kind of crazy because you're gonna probably get like 10 additional essences with this one thing, right?
Yep.
And then you can add more.
Always gotta use this with the more rare monster map mod.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be a scarab, right? It looks winged. It's probably one of the rarest ones.
Yeah.
Probably won't have this one very often, so gotta min-max it.
Maybe you won't.
I mean, a random note about scarabs, right? You can kind of target farm them pretty well. We haven't mentioned that. I guess we can talk about that later too.
We can just, I mean, it doesn't take long to mention. There's two things on the Atlas that are relevant here. Number one, the blockers say scarabs found in your maps cannot be that type.
Yeah,
that's relevant.
That's awesome.
So we're under the assumption that if you block things, it redistributes the weighting appropriately, i.e. if you were to block every league mechanic but one, then the odds of getting that one thing should be higher. I'm assuming that's the case. And then there's just a bunch of other scarab nodes in the middle area, specifically that target exact mechanics like Torment, Beyond, yada, yada, yada. So if you wanted just Essence Scarabs or more Essence Scarabs, then there's a thing for that. And you could, I guess, block all the other mechanics in the fucking game and just get way more Essence Scarabs. There's ways to do it, yeah.
With blocking, you can essentially block like half the total scarabs in the pool or something, and then there's a note that really makes it 100% more likely to be essence. So you get like ×4 the essence scarab drop rates, pretty much.
Very nice. But yeah, there's a lot of scarab fun stuff. This league is basically Scarab League. Necropolis is cool and all, but
it is.
It's a Scarab League. The domination ones, I like that there's domination stuff. We haven't had domination stuff in a while. So limit 4 shrines. That's already just for reference. That's actually like a lot of packs in general.
So I'm going to clear my tier 17s. I'm going to add 15 shrines to my map and make them last 2 minutes.
Yeah, so
I can kill the boss.
There's you can have it so there's additional packs. They're all magic. You get additional shrine effects times. There's only like 6 shrine effects, so half of them are just dead. Additional shrines. You can have an amount of them be covetous shrines. about a 5-minute duration. You could pop on the Gull and Blunderbore for more shrine stuff.
And well, speaking of Gull, we should read the next scarab.
Arian contains an additional unusual shrine. Or you want the third one's the Gull one you're talking about? Yeah. So the shrine buffs in area also grant 30% increased experience gain. So the Gull is a shrine buff you get in the area. I'm also curious, like, that's one that the Gull generates the shrines in the area. Now they are considered minor shrines, so I don't know if that still counts as a shrine. I hope it does.
I think it is a shrine, yeah. So like pretty much for every single different shrine buff, you literally gonna get like 30% XP.
And this might even scale with shrine effect, right? Buff effect.
It might, yeah. So
maybe.
What's the wording on Blunderbore?
Wait, so if Blunderbore you would get this permanently, right?
I don't think so, because it's not a shrine in the area. It's a shrine that you have. Well, Blunderbore still has 75% increased shrine effect. So if this worked, you would still want it anyway.
It only works during the scarab, obviously. Yeah.
You have the lesser shrine buff. See, I don't know. The way it worded is, it makes it seem like it probably wouldn't work, but the shrine effect would still work, the buff effect. So if the buff effect actually did scale up that 30%, you would still wear Blunderbore. But I don't know if you're just walking around with like 100% more increased experience. That would seem, unless it's the biggest overset of all time.
During the gilded scarab, like this gilded looking scarab, it would be pretty hard to sustain that one.
Yeah, but there's a paradise thing somewhere in here for something. I don't remember what it was, but there's like, is that one of the later ones? There's a something gives increased experience somewhere. Anyway, there's
the Necropolis has that.
Oh, yeah, the Necropolis. Thank you.
Mods that give increased XP monsters.
It does seem a little insane if the Gull and Blunderbore worked, though. That would be like. That's like
the Blunderbore thing. Just saving up like a handful of these scarabs and a couple of the Necropolis XP things, and then combining them together sounds like the easiest level 100 ever.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Exactly. Like you just blast 5 different shrine effects, or like even more, and then get giga experience. Sounds super fun.
Yeah, don't mind.
Combine this with some betrayal.
Don't mind me. Just
Incursion scarabs. Those are new.
Don't mind me. Just
Yeah, some of the incursion scarabs are interesting. Like, what did they do actually? Let me take a look.
Don't mind me.
I guess we didn't look at the last domination ones actually. There's a one that spawns a map boss on each shrine, and it's affected by. Yeah. It's kind of like a.
Just adding the Gull and the Blunderbore to my
boss,
filter.
Right?
Don't mind me. Okay. Just quickly tossed on 2 uniques in my higher priority filter.
Yeah, so pretty much the last one that you mentioned, like adding a boss to a single shrine, and there's also I think a scarab that gives you a chance to drop Guardian map with that, so you can spawn a lot of map bosses that obviously are map bosses, so they're gonna drop a lot of loot, and they're gonna drop maps, so you can have those really neat combos, right?
Yeah.
With map implicit and domination on the map device and a couple of the basic scarabs, you can have like 8 shrines in your map.
Mm-hmm.
That's shrine. Pretty cool.
Big shrine. The
map boss.
Incursion.
The question is, how many of these boss maps do you actually need now that they don't lead into Uber bosses?
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
True.
Maybe they're going to be.
You could Wisp them, and you could also maybe Keystone them.
Conquest for magic finding, I think.
Yeah, you just got to get thorough exploration for more Wisps, and then destructive play for more wave and mitness bosses. Everything doubles and triples. Easy peasy.
So many strats.
Incursion guaranteed Alva, which is honestly a little bit weird that that's the base one, because again, you could already have 100% guaranteed Alva. Yeah. So
this one seems like one of the ones that is going to pile up like crazy. In
this is what you're going to 3-to-1. You're going to 3-to-1 the shit out of it. Yeah. The next one is actually kind of crazy, I think, for just a regular scarab, which is just the area contains 12 to 16 packs of incursion monsters. It's not mobs. 12 to 16 packs just seems like a ton of juice.
Like 3 sextants of monsters.
And then it's also limit too. So you were mentioning about div card stuff, just adding more packs to the map. I don't know if they're tagged as incursion mobs, I don't know if it's going to work the way like incursions in your maps have a chance for monsters to be magic. I don't know if that would work on that, right? You wouldn't just have 16 packs of magic mobs.
So pretty much it's just 14 random packs, and then they have 14% chance to be like have a rare monster there. So it's gonna be like 5 rare monsters on average.
It seems pretty good though, just for like a scarab.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
it's like old packs section pretty much. It's like all right.
And then the next one is incursions in area have a chance for all monsters to be at least magic, and then the incursions have increased pack size.
Wait, so you can guarantee full magic now?
Yes, for in the incursion though.
And then 2 of these.
But that's only in the incursion, not in the map. Okay.
Yeah, but the scarab also adds 30 pack size, and then you can pick up a ton of pack size on the Atlas tree. So you're gonna have some very juicy incursions for MFing, but can you really MF this? Because you have to use so many incursion scarabs already. You can't really do anything else in those maps.
I think you're gonna maybe use this like one of them. Like you get 60% chance in magic incursion because I think incursion gonna be like the mainstay of a Mavic right now. So it's gonna be we go back to incursion again.
The last one says the final architect slain in the area will drop a full itemized temple. That's based on, this is the interesting part, is that it's based on the temples dropped is generated based on my current temple layout. So if you had like a good layout, I guess, then you would use this. But the tiers are randomized in the rooms. So you might not get to 3s, but at least you could kind of be like, maybe you wouldn't want to use this if you didn't have a corruption even on the thing, and you would just save it. And then
you
just
probably don't use it in the
chance.
First map, right? Like you want to do 1 or 2 maps first and build up a decent temple, and then when you finish the temple, when you do the 3rd map of this current temple to get the last like 4 incursions, that's when you use it, and then you basically dupe your temple.
I think with this one you kind of don't want to have like that 4 incursion thingy, so you want to do 3 incursions per map and use it on the like the 4th set of incursions, right? So like you set up your things to
slightly better.
Have a gem room and then the corruption room, and then pop this one up.
I mean, the way I see it, it's gonna be a pretty rare scarab, right? So I think it's just kind of. I don't think you have to even like work for this. Eventually, just gonna have a situation where like, oh, I could use the scarab here and get 2 double corrupt, so he's gonna put it in those situations.
Yeah, I love this one. I think it's like
it's not guaranteed double corrupt, of course, because it's like a 1 in 3, I guess, at best. But I mean, the first thing I saw when I saw this was Adorned Farm. It's gonna make it a lot easier. I don't even care what rooms I have as long as I can kill the boss for Adorned Fragment. I'm happy.
Why don't you just get adorned like a real cool guy by valing side zones like me? I've never actually succeeded. I've always failed. I'm at like 15 unique side zones, and none of them have hit adorned. But one day, TM. I did hand in an adorned on League Merge, and it rolled 90%. So that goes into the tab to die. One day. What is the highest adorned you guys have?
I don't even remember. I just got 1 for the tab.
Yeah.
I think it was terrible.
Let me link you one.
I'm sure. Where are you linking? Is this going to be on your OnlyFans?
He's going to link at 151, but it's Legi.
It's on his OnlyFans.
Almost. Actually, almost.
Better be above
This one is
140.
pretty good.
Let's see. It's just going to fuck up my stuff. You stink. Never mind. 147. Moving on. Let's look at Betrayal. Same thing where it's like area contains June is the first node, which I feel like is still weird, but that's fine. The second scarab is 150% increased intelligence. That seems like a lot.
But better.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I actually checked the wording on this because we didn't know. Like I was reading those cards today, and we didn't know if this is the same wording as the sextant. It is the same wording as the sextant, right?
Yep.
So pretty much what it's, right?
Yeah. So what it kind of says, if it works the same as the current sextant, you can get Katarina in 1 safe house.
Yeah.
Like literally, you complete 1 safe house, get the Katarina.
But you have to upgrade the safe house to 3 first, right? The ones that spawn off the Katarina is only level 2. That's not enough.
I think so. Yes, you have to be captain level 3, and then interrogate him, pop the sextant, and get the guy, and get Katarina in 1.
I mean, it's better than the sextant used to be, but you only get 1 use out of this, right? Well, the sextant
3 uses.
Covered like 4 Katarinas, basically. You could use it 4 times.
I mean, technically yes, but like the sextant was pretty much the same, right? Like you popped it for 1 map, proc the thing, and
and it was a very rare sextant.
This is probably gonna be a pretty common one. Yeah, assumed so. Seems good.
Yeah, I like it. Beat Flaming Katarina is going to be an important thing with the Veil Chaos changes.
Probably, yeah. Next one is members have a 50% chance to be accompanied by reinforcements.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. More friends, more things. More betrayal. This is like some hardcore betrayal happenings.
Wonder how when you would use this, because it's a pretty rare scarab, it looks like.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would use it for like magic find purposes maybe, or if you want to use it for XP farming, or just to get to Katarina faster.
Sell it. Just sell it.
It's more unique monsters, so maybe you could use it for like a strat like that. Like the unique monsters drop beyond portals, that kind of thing.
It's all more experience also. The detaining syndicate members gives a lot of experience as well. It's one of the best parts about doing a safe house when you like hit the final button on the person and it's just like I just gained 30%.
Use this with domination together, right? And get like extra XP while doing it. Big.
The last one's really interesting, which is defeated syndicate targets in the area have a 50% chance to drop an additional scarab. And it's a limit too, so it gets 100%, which means you could probably have like in conjunction with the other reinforcement thing in the tree, you could probably get how many people? What would be the top end? 15 people if everything worked perfectly?
Yeah.
So that's 15 scarab. That's like a lot of setup.
Pretty damn.
It does, yeah.
It just means you find this scarab and then you have to run a map to turn it into some random scarabs, right?
I wish it said like
as well not exist.
Drop an additional scarab of a higher rarity or something. Because if it's just like 15, that's like so much RNG and setup to get 15 scarabs, and it itself is going to be seems to be quite a rare scarab. So kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know. I agree.
I mean, yeah, you just turn it into different scarabs basically. It's like a stacked deck of scarabs kind of.
But the second scarab seems really good. The intelligence one, especially. The ones less so, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, the big betrayal buff is the fact that you can guarantee every single map now by investing like 15 points.
Yep.
We don't even need scarabs for it. Like, it's already insane.
Yeah.
You can farm it so fast now. No robot missions anymore.
Blight ones, you can only have one blight per map still, or we're able to bypass that?
One per map again, I think. It used to be bypassed for a bit and it bugged out every time.
Even the scarab says blight contains a blight encounter. I'm pretty sure we can get to 100% blight also, so I don't know why this exists.
Yeah, it's one of the 3-to-1s.
Okay, but the second one says there's a 50% or 20% chance chests are openable again, limit 2. I think Tree has some of this, so it probably is like 50 or 60 in total. It seems kind of mediocre to me, I don't know, but yeah. The place this might be good, I guess, if anything, is since the way blight works in cramped maps, like if you're doing like a waste pool, there's only going to be like 1 or 2 lanes. So, and one of those lanes is guaranteed to be oils. So you can get like 5 to 6 oils and like a 50% chance to double open.
Yeah.
Might be okay.
I think this one is insane if you read further. I think this
we haven't gotten there yet. We got a baby steps, little Leggy. Come on. Blight oils found in map are 1 tier higher. Yeah, so it's already gotten better based off of what I just said.
That's okay.
The third one says
the last one.
Blight encounters have up to 3 additional unique bosses. They have 100% life, and tier 14 Blight maps found in area dropped as Blight Ravaged. Okay, yeah. So if you ran the 2 of the second one, and then the third and the third and the second one, and then the last one, the third one doesn't really help too much with that. But you're gonna drop probably 3 or 4 Blight Ravaged maps from that one map. Which, and again, you'd have to do it in a map where Blight kind of bugs out and does the thing where it only picks like 1 or 2 lanes.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of Blight Ravage maps, probably.
I mean, all of these seem really useful because at least, like, whenever I farm Blight, I pretty much only do Blight because I have to run, like, a Toxic Sewer or some trash map for it, right?
Yep.
So pretty much all I do in that map is do the Blight, so I might as well use 4 Blight Scrubs and go all out on it to make it better.
Yep.
Pretty much, yeah.
So these are always welcome to find, I think. They're always useful.
And again, because Blight can only really spawn 1 Blight, you just either have a Blight map that has it implicit, or you just put it with the map device. And unironically, no matter what your build is now, because of the Blight Keystone, totally trivial. Like if your build isn't good for it, the Blight nodes and the Blight Keystone actually makes it impossible to fucking fail this. Like, if you grab the one that does 300% more damage, like you just put 1 stun, 1 chill, any damage thing, and they'll They just get rolled, even in like the bosses. So
Could this be the time where we actually farm multiple of the amulets to make
I would
unique?
like one amulet, please. I would like one Stranglecast.
I mean, this in combination with more accessible Einhard to get more split beasts, so you can split them all. It really would be.
Yeah, I
It wouldn't
think
be hard.
Archmage, Journey Tattoos. Yep, that sounds really fun.
Yeah,
I'm all for it, honestly.
what are you trying? You're trying to get a four implicit Carnage chart or something like that. Like, what
Or
do you
that.
want? Well, you
I still
can't
need
get.
to finish my.
It sucks. You can't get Yoke anymore, right? Because it's the 17th. You couldn't Mythic Orbit.
boss swap
Oh
now,
yeah.
So that would be the big one. I mean, I think that'd probably be the most desirable one. Maybe Astromentus, I guess, but of the Onyx amulets. Yeah.
And there's also the +3 level one, the
Oh, yeah,
replica
the Dragon
Dragon
Fangs.
Fang. Just need to hit exactly your spell.
Well, then you can't divide it. Then yeah. After that, that'd be a bit of a meme. Even if it, like I said, even if it didn't hit a spell that was it still has stats like stuff, you know. Someone's asking in chat about what happens to scarabs in standard after patch. I believe every single scarab gets 1-to-1 liquidated into a Veil Scarab. I think that's what they're saying.
I think so, yeah.
So
I think you're right.
whether it's a rusted or a winged, it all just becomes a Veiled Scarab. And then I assume that because it's a Veiled Scarab, the equivalent drop weighting probably applies, similar to like a stack deck where it's not as bad as if it dropped in a map, but like you're less likely to get the higher end scarabs as you are the more common ones, I assume. Anyway, that Blight thing's really good. Blight Ravage maps could be pretty fun. Looking forward to trying that out.
I mean, again, it's one of those things where you can now Blight for like a week or two, and then you look into your tab and you have like this combo 5 times or X times, and then you just go hard on Blight for a bit, right? Like,
also,
it's
Blight,
great because then you always know what to do.
Unless you're like super into Blight, it's always just been kind of the thing where it's like, let me just get the amount of oils I need to do exactly what I want, then stop touching that content a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. It's like, oh, time to do Blight for 2 days so I can get my 3 golds, and then I'm just going to not do Blight ever again for the league. Not to mention, like...
Yeah, unless I have this of blooming one, I mean, I would...
Yeah.
Even if I don't need oils, I might just try to get the amulet from this.
Right. Then you get to enjoy it as 20% of your Blight maps just simply bug out because it just fucking happens in Blight. Could be the most consistently bugged content in the game is Blight maps.
You mean you put in this expensive scarab and it just straight up doesn't spawn a Blight because it bugged?
Mm-hmm. I always have it so Blight mobs spawn outside of the map, and then I can't ever actually complete it, which is my favorite.
That's a new one. I haven't seen that one.
I've had it happen 3. It's always like the same tile sets. There was a I don't remember the name of the guy. There's some guy who like does Blight every league and trade. He plays like minion builds, but he always is like, all right, this is the league where these 3 maps or the 10 maps these are bugged. Don't do these. Make sure you do other Blight maps. It's like, all right, cool. Breach. Just it's good to mention along with the Breach stuff. Not only is the Atlas tree obviously better for everything because the rates are higher, but Breach has also changed in the way that you no longer have to click on hands, you just have to walk over them. So that's a pretty decent quality of life. On top of that, if you already had the caster mastery that opens chests, that does work regardless. So if you're playing a high cast build, that didn't matter at all, but Breach is a little bit nicer because of that.
They literally introduced Breach to the game, back to the game now, this patch.
Yeah.
You know? Breach is in Path of Exile again. It's amazing, isn't it?
And
I mean, looking at all of these scarabs, it seems like it's a mechanic that is purely for splinters, though. Like, none of these really buffs Breach as a...
Correct, yes.
It's like a
literally
tool or something.
None of this is like exciting past just doing more Breach. It's literally just more Breach. So
yeah, like comparing it to Legion or something where you could actually farm
or any of these. Yeah, they're all more
right?
thematic than, whatever. So
this seems, even more hard focused onto this.
Yeah, we added Breach to your Breach, so you could Breach while you Breach. Yeah. It's just... So it's like...
Which means if you don't need a Breach unique in SSF, it's basically worthless scarabs to you.
Yeah, what do you mean? You do the hidden once, then you never do it again. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you need to get some Fiat Geulus too, but yeah.
It's actually even weirder now because of Breach and tier 17s, you can get a high tier Grasping Mails, which you couldn't do before from Breach Rings, so that'd be another reason to do it.
True.
But now we're kind of reaching a little bit. I totally agree with like kind of all the other things we've done have kind of stepped out of their exact thing to do something more. And especially because Breach is a 5 Scarab set, it is kind of a little bit goofy that it's like exactly just more breach.
Yeah, I was
And
hoping
even-
there would be one where like the breach has more magic monsters, or the breach monsters
Yeah.
have more quant or something, right?
And
So
none
you
of
can
them
use
do
more.
anything like kind of exciting. It's just literally it's just like 50% more splinters. As
I
the
think the
fourth one.
last one does that. Like it's like the clans are guarded by rare monsters, right? So this
Yeah,
is like
true.
kinda,
Well, but they're still
you
rare
can-
breach monsters. Like I'm saying,
But it's a very, very rare scarab, and it's in a choice of the amount of breaches you have in your map, so you have to like combine it with more
Yeah,
like,
kinda
breach
true.
stuff. But yeah, I see what you mean. It has some use outside of splinters.
I think I'd
like,
rather
like,
just
it's
have
reducing.
3 of the first breach and then the third breach, where I just have 10 breaches in a map, each one containing a breach lord. Like that to me
That's
seems
the best way to farm hidden, probably.
that seems like the best in general. I don't know. That just seems like it's the most exciting, which is just I'll have a bunch of breaches. They all have a breach lord. There's a chance they'll duplicate. There's a chance they all drop stones straight up, and then
I think there's a very high chance breach is one of the mechanics that blocks just to block these 5 scarabs.
that's true. There's
Because
something.
I
Yeah,
Block
agree,
5
yeah.
at a time, right?
yeah. That's worth
Basically.
mentioning. That again, because all the blockers in the middle totally block the scarabs from dropping. You're removing 5 from the pool.
Like, not that these scarabs are bad, right? But if I don't need specifically a breach unique or a grasping mail, these are kind of worthless to me
Yeah.
in an SSF POV. From an SSF POV, so yeah. A good thing to block in SSF, I think. Breach.
The next one's cartography. These I like a lot, but they're also like
Those are insane now.
they're like not how do I describe it? They're like not sexy because it's like just more of a it's just like kind of a vanilla thing. Like increased map found area, fantastic. Maps are a higher tier up to T16, so you can't get 17s. Like that's fantastic, sure.
Well, you can, right? Because if they become T16s, then they have a chance to have this T17 roll, right?
From the
It just
void
means-
stones, but not from the Atlas, because the Atlas specifies.
Yeah. Like this scarab doesn't make you 16s into 17s, but if it makes a 15 into a 16,
Yeah.
then that one has this small chance to become a 17. So
Correct,
this
yes.
scarab does give you a tiny amount of more T17s. Right?
Yeah. No, you're right in
Will
that
help fight
regard.
T17s.
Also it's not like there's no chance. It's just the maps are a tier higher, so that's like good. The third one says a unique map will drop from the final map boss. I don't know how this operates with multiple map bosses, like for city square type things. I assume it's just one, but I don't.
Well, it says final map boss, right? So on a city square, you have one final map boss.
It's
only.
true. Whatever the last one you kill is the final map boss. Yeah.
It works with the Maven node because that says it spawns more bosses that count as final map bosses, and the domination one that we saw earlier,
Yeah.
where each domination shrine is.
I don't really
supported
know.
by-
Like,
Yeah.
I don't really feel like this is this kind of like weird because I feel like it's probably going to be used and set up like you're describing more efficiently in a later game setting. But this would really be the most prevalent for me, at least in a very early game setting when I actually wanted to
Yeah.
do unique maps once each. Like, there's no unique map
maps
that
are
I'm
just not
nutting over. Like,
It seems to be a common-ish scarab, right? It has the polished
Yeah,
part. I
yeah.
don't expect this to be very rare, so maybe we get a few of these before we get our Coward's Trial, and we can use this to try and get a Coward's Trial.
yeah. Because there's like 3 or
But
4 unique
once we
maps that are
have
like
them all-
rare, and that's kind of like. But also, this is also the same league that Kirik is more prevalent than ever because of its spawn rate. So it might not even be required if you just hit it.
That is true.
The next
Seems
one,
like a reroll scarab.
the next one is super sexy, which is just the sextant. Maps drop corrupted 8 mods. So
Expected it to be winged looking, right? Like extremely rare, because the Sextant used to be
you
extremely
quite
rare.
yeah. So I'm a little surprised it is more.
But I guess it only has 1 use now, right? Instead of 4.
Yeah. It's pretty good though. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing new, but nothing wrong. And then the last one is 30% chance for maps to be duplicated. Now, this one is extra interesting because it doesn't specify what kind of maps, right? So that means it could apply to T17s, it could apply to anything.
Yeah, I mean,
You
it's
could-
basically the old Atlas passives, right? When you picked them all up, you had like, with Wandering Path, it was 37% chance to duplicate.
Yep, this is
And now
limit
you
2.
get this-
So it's 60%,
Yep.
yeah.
It works on boss maps, it works on normal, it works on the 8 mod maps from the other Scarab.
Now, what if I get a Valdez box and I drop the map on the floor? Explain, riddle
not
me
found in
that,
the area.
man. It is found in the area. If I close my eyes when I
It's
drop it,
littering.
it's not littering. This is America. We're allowed to throw trash on the ground.
It's Recklast, not America.
It's true. That's fair. ambush ones. These are, I think, some of the nicer ones I saw when I first looked at them. These seemed like very sexy. Even just the first one, I think, is really, really strong. Honestly,
I really like that.
just
Yeah, I
5
really like
boxes
the
for
basic
one node
one,
is like
exactly.
feel really good. Feels good, man. It's a lot of boxes. Boxes are already pretty
They're on
good.
the mini map now too, right?
They're on the mini map, and
That's
they
cool.
so they removed operative strong boxes, right? Those are gone. But
Yeah.
am I fucking blind? Oh, here it is. They have the secret compartments is higher, I believe, right? So it's 16% chance to reopen boxes. Might be higher than that.
Yeah, yeah. They added an extra 10% there.
And then 60% pack. Anything else get changed? I think that was it, right? Yeah, either way, it's just like a lot. That's just a lot of fucking boxes.
I don't know if you've seen that, but in the trailer where they showed the fact that they're on the minimap, a normal strongbox can now contain scarabs.
Yeah.
So like every strongbox has like the operative strongbox modifiers.
Every map is monstrous treasure when you believe. Yeah.
Yeah, every box can be an operative box basically.
Hell yeah.
Built in already without any Atlas passives.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I think ambush, like just generally doing ambush, got buffed quite a bit, right? So like you just putting random boxes with like ambush scarabs and like blasting ambush are gonna be very nice. I think. It depends how like.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Yeah, sorry, I just want to finish my thought. So yeah, like just generally doing ambush is just going to be very good for like generating scrap, depending on obviously like what kind of drop rates you get for like just off the ground, right? And yeah, since you like started with the Kirak mod, it's just very good, you know, like just adding even more with Kirak.
I mean, yeah, the way I see it is you pay 7 chaos for 5 boxes on Kirak, right? And the boxes have a chance to give you scarab drops. So you're kind of converting chaos into scarabs whenever you have.
Yep.
Whenever you don't have anything else to put on your maps anyway. If you don't use another Kirak mod yet and you have tons of chaos, then why not just click that and get some scarabs, and then you get all these unique scarabs, right? That allows so many farming strats that you otherwise couldn't do.
So not for nothing, but I don't know if they did they add Lighthouse back to the Atlas? Because if they didn't, that's a lot more chances at Red Blade we had before.
Cool.
So, and getting Red Blade shield is really nice. It's very annoying to get, especially in SSF. So like, that's a lot more chance of unique strong boxes. The second one is just more open ability chance, but the third one is increased effect of explicit modifiers on strong boxes.
Ooh.
Now,
so scarabs.
Scarabs is one. Yeah, interesting. It does specify explicit, so you can't Valve Vessels. This doesn't affect Valve Vessels at all, I don't think, right? Because I know they're strong boxes.
Well, do they even have an implicit of any kind?
Implicit? No, the map has an implicit. I don't think they have an implicit or or no, there's no implicit on it.
Yeah,
is
exactly.
there? No,
like,
okay.
It's a map implicit, but the box itself is not. Yeah.
Okay, so then there's nothing really. So this just makes the mods themselves better. So if it dropped whatever, if it dropped 4 scarabs, it now drops more scarabs basically. It's extremely. It's like that value gets higher. Do you think this is?
I feel like this is kind of weird, right? Because I was thinking about it, and it's like kind of a multiplier. So in like a general setting, if you don't touch boxes at all, it's gonna be kind of worse than just a random Rasta scarab, like the just amber scarab, right? Like 75% mods is like, unless you like load up your map with a lot of boxes, then it's not gonna be that amazing, right? So you can either have
the same
to,
for the second one, really, right? The second scarab is the same thing.
So
the second
either
and the third scarab
you have to like roll for something.
Multiply what you already have.
Yeah, especially if
you roll for some specific.
Like probably half the people who are running ambush probably have tamper proof on, which makes them corrupted and rare just because it's just like easier. And I feel like if you have tamper proof, this isn't that good because you would rather. Like, if I had this on a map, I probably would want to roll boxes for scarabs to a degree. To try to.
Yeah, that's true actually.
So you wouldn't want to run tamper proof. That's like, but that's also like annoying, not for nothing. But like if I'm having, 15, 20 boxes on a map and I have to sit there like the old days and roll them, like I don't think it's like this just doesn't seem like it's a ambush and go type of thing. This is like I'm doing this map and I'm going to roll scarabs in each box and it's going to give me tons of value, but it's just going to take more concentrated effort.
This is basically another way to convert currency into scarabs, right? You put the scarab on together with the second one, and then as many boxes as you can, maybe even the monster's treasure one that's coming later, and then you just go in and I'll scour the boxes until they have any form of scarab loot,
Yeah.
Then you click them, and you have a high chance of clicking them again and again.
Yeah.
And you just spend a bit of time and some currency to generate a ton of scarabs quickly.
Yep. I totally agree.
I'll think.
It's actually interesting because they reduced the value, or they reduced the roll from boxes that gives additional levels about by 75%. So I think it was +5 and now it's like +2 or something. So maybe that was literally the intention, was like part of that was they didn't want you to scale up, plus whatever 10 eye levels past the zone using this.
Why though? What's the point?
I don't know.
I guess it's just spells actually hurt you, right? Like when you get a +5 box, +5 area, or what is it called, monster level box.
Yeah.
And then you have this scarab on, and it has an ice nova. It's going to hit for 1 billion damage because it's going to be a level 80 or 95 ice nova.
Interesting though.
Balance, I guess.
The next one is just Monster's Treasure, right? Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So not much to say there. Just sure, it's cool.
So actually, normal enrage. It's actually gone. I didn't notice yet.
Yep.
I haven't checked this list before.
Yep. The last one is ambush. I can't fucking speak. Ambush Scarab of Discernment. Are more likely to be rare varieties. Obviously this you're more likely to get, I guess, Kartos. You can't get operatives, so it's going to be like, I guess currency, whatever.
Karto Arcanist.
And honestly, it seems a little bait to me. I think I don't really like. I think I'd rather have the earlier ones because, depending on what they can roll, I think I'd rather just have more boxes hitting other scarabs than like.
Yeah, but then you have the Atlas Specials to duplicate cards and currency, right?
For divination,
plus
but
treasure.
It's such a ambiguous phrase. More likely to be rarer varieties, like.
Yeah,
what does it actually mean?
It's only like 4 rare varieties. Like it's like Arcanist, Divination, Cartography, and I don't know if Ornate is a rare variety, but like hopefully not. But like
yeah. I think if it's not a Divination, I think I'd rather just have a normal box I roll scarabs on. For that one, I don't know. Overall, Scarab seems good. Like Ambush seems good. I'm most excited about the first and the third one for sure. Like one common Scarab for fun.
Increased effect, and you bring your 200.
Yeah.
Well, more like 2,000 alts and roll them all.
Yeah.
And then you have like hundreds of Scarabs.
Next one is Expedition, which has been like an SSF staple since it's been added to the game, basically. First one is Air contains an Expedition. Again, a little strange because you could just guarantee Expedition through like 2 different ways, but sure. Next one is 100% increased number of runic monster markers. That means that's just more markers before you start explosion. So that's not remnants. That's the small markers.
No, it's runic one, like the big skulls.
Yeah,
it's basically what the Gilded Scarab used to do, right? I think it used to give you 100% increase.
So it's just double the remnants then. Whatever.
Or was it Winged that did this before? Might have been Winged only that did this. But it gives you twice as many runic monsters. It's insane.
Yep.
And you can stack it to 2. Holy. That's a lot of runic monsters.
Yeah, that seems really good. The third one has 20% increased number of explosives and 100% increased explosive radius. I don't know how good that really is, because if I don't pick up the big bomb, I really don't think I've ever had a problem hitting everything I've wanted. How about yourself?
I mean, you're losing 1 explosion because obviously the Scarab currently had 1 explosion, right? So
exactly.
Yeah.
So this might be like you use 1 when you like blast.
You might just have to use it to get full value, right? If you're using the one we just looked at twice, and you have so many runic monsters, you don't want to miss some of them, right? So you kind of have to use that to get them all, probably.
As it depends on how they decide to... If it's 100% increased or 200% increased runic monster markers, I don't think it's going to mean the radius of the overall expedition is that much larger. It's going to be more condensed.
It's going to be less dead spots that you can skip, right? So you have to basically explode the entire expedition area.
You can also just take the second one twice and then just take the big bomb and just blow it all up.
True.
Yeah.
But I mean, in some layouts, the big bomb doesn't cover everything. It
would definitely cover everything with the third one if you have 80% increased radius on top of the big bomb.
Definitely be a
you'll be able to drop the hell bomb on it. Yeah.
I mean, that's what you do probably, right? It's going to be extremely fast. You
if
get every single remnant,
if your build can handle it, that's like the build bricker 101. If like you're playing any build that is susceptible to something. The next one is just area has Danig, so sure, good.
Very good.
Seems good. And then the last one I think is crazy sounding. Remnants have 2 additional suffixes and prefixes.
Jesus.
Which is like, I mean, that's the real test. If you could have 2 of the second, 1 of the third, and then the last one with the big bomb. I mean, that's good. I don't know.
Everything gonna be like immune to everything. Right?
So it's interesting, right? Like they just took cycling damage reduction, basically removed the immunity and made it so it's a massive damage reduction, compared to what it used to be. But then there's still like immunities in Expedition. What build can even handle that? If you like that, does you just gotta get lucky.
I think a 3 elemental build, like claws or bows or something.
That doesn't crit.
Very rare to even get all 3 of them.
Yeah, but you also can't crit because you're gonna hit the one that says your crits do no
if you're
damage.
strong enough, like let's say you have like a mirror tier build and you don't care about anything but the immunities. But they're gonna be hard to do early on, of course.
That's the big nut. That'd be so cool. You drop the nuke, everything has 6 fucking mods on it.
Additional one. No.
2 additional suffixes and prefixes.
Yeah, so 5 mods, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, the tree also gives you 1 extra mod, right?
Half the time, right? I think.
30% chance to have an additional suffix, and then there's 2 extra remnants.
So yeah, the suffix is the beneficial one. The prefix is the
detrimental one.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So you have 3 times as many detrimental mods. That's a lot.
Pretty much.
Well, yeah, but it comes at the cost of having them. Whatever.
It's pretty fun though.
I like it.
I think Big Bomb is a bait on that one.
How dare you?
Yeah. But imagine what you can stack there, though, right? Holy.
Yeah.
Like, the chances to get runic monsters duplicated skyrocket as well, because that's a prefix, right? So you triple the chance to get runic monsters are duplicated. You're going to get it consistently.
Yep.
And then you can stack like 150 pack size, 1500 rarity or something.
You better spec into that monsters can't block mastery. Have a rough time.
This is going to be Uber expeditions for sure.
It's true. Everything else is bitch mode except for this. The big bomb mega nuke. That's going to be the.
And then the thing is, you want to run this in like an 8 mod corrupted map, right?
Oh yeah.
With increased map modifier
juice,
effect, of course. So even better.
Hey. Every mob's going to also have 800% life regen. You're going to have to get all your orbs down and stuff.
This is the real test. Like, who cares about Ubis? But can you clear the?
Can you clear the mini nuke? Yeah. Legion, we went over a little bit, but Legion 1's very, very good, I think, also because, again, like, compared to, like, the Expedition 1, area contains an Expedition encounter, limit 1, yeah, but you already have cap. Legion, you can have multiple Legions, so that's why it's limit 4. More Legions, more better. Feels good. Second one, giving you 5 Sergeants. That seems really good also.
Damn.
Free General on the third one. Fourth one is just the America thing. They seem to have that for all of them, where it's like whatever the rarest faction is going to be, just always contains.
It's going to be harder to farm Templar in America now, isn't
That's what I was thinking, yeah. Poor Templar boy. And then the last ones, they break out multiple times, but they just keep... So basically, this is very similar to Unrelenting Legion in the sense that every reset, it's a substantial difficulty increase, like Uber Legions, where every time you re-break them out... I can't
wait to run the maps that have like the Legion implicit, 2 extra Legions on the Scarab, 5 extra Sergeants, and then the big one, the Eternal Conflict one.
Oh, yeah.
Plus Atlas passive, of course, so you're going to have like 4 to 5 Legions in there.
And then you can also, take the ones where, what is it called? Protracted Battle? No. Yeah. The 50% increased damage while in stasis will actually become probably pretty relevant.
Yeah, we're going to need that,
Yeah, just to fucking get through the bulwark that is the Legions.
I mean, it just allows you to kill them more often times, so you do more damage, right?
That's two points for like 3 extra clears, probably. Yeah, seems good.
I mean, one thing about these map implicits, like you said earlier, how good they're going to be, but you can now reach 100% increased effect of map mods, I think, consistently, can't you?
So I think it's 90-something. Is it 100? I think it's 90-something. It's not 100. I don't think you can reach 100.
Doesn't it depend on your pack size or something? No, on your quality, right?
Map
maybe
quality.
You're right.
You can get quality to 30% though on a map, technically, right?
Yeah, I don't know if you can
perfect
get
fossils.
I think it's like 96. Right?
Gotta use the perfect fossil on a map.
Yeah, you might have to get an extra Legion.
Oh yeah. Feels good. Beyond ones are pretty interesting. I really, this is like a case actually where the first Beyond Scarab is actually relevant, even if it's a once per map mechanic, because it's annoying to get guaranteed Beyond outside. It was, at least until we have it on the Atlas. Now you would just use Keurig, so doing it through that, it's like, I don't know if you'd rather Keurig and add Beyond or do something else.
But I don't know if you realize, but you can also guarantee Beyond chance on the tree now as well. You can make every single map have Beyond.
Oh, I didn't see that. Where is
Added a new wheel and they added some new nodes.
Oh, I see. On
so you can actually make every single map have Beyond by default.
Where's the fucking guaranteed chance? 8, 16. Is that really enough? Oh, it is a lot of 8s. Okay, it's a lot of 8s. I see them. They just threw 8s everywhere. Holy shit. Okay. That's interesting. I might just put that. All right. Anyway, Beyond good. I still am of the mind where I'm probably almost always taking Endless Tide personally. Like, I don't, just to not have the boss spawning, I'd rather just have Beyond have
for sure coming. Yeah. I mean, this is going to be key for this divination scarab strat too. I think. Because you can't really use many scarabs with the divination strat, right? Because you use only divination scarabs, so getting Beyond on the Atlas tree is going to be huge.
Increased emerging radius.
Monsters.
Beyond bosses in area are enraged on low life, have 100% increased chance to drop currency, and then the portals have an increased chance to spawn a Beyond boss. That one seems kind of terrible, because the first one's detrimental to the player. The last line is almost doesn't matter. It's like, if you have all the Beyond points, I would say it's near guaranteed to get a boss. There's no point for increased spawn rate.
You're going to skip the notables on this one. You're going to play like Wandering Path, even though Wandering Path doesn't exist. But in Beyond, you're going to skip most of the notables.
I don't understand why you'd ever want that. Okay, that's shit. The next one, items dropped by Beyond monsters in our area corrupted. Now, I would have said this was good in the last league. But now that we have to ID corrupted items, I don't care as much, but that's a bit of a bummer.
I think that's kind of whatever, man. Like you're gonna get some kind of jewels, maybe, or like 6 things, but
or maps, I guess. But I don't know.
I don't think it's good.
Only half the items that drop can be corrupted. The vast majority of them you're probably gonna hide in your filter. The maps are corrupted being cool, but it's not like the corrupted 8 mod. They're just corrupted. I don't know. Seems a little poopy. And then the last one could be insane, I think.
That's a strat, yeah.
Yeah, the last one is a whole barrel of monkeys in itself, which is unique monster slaying, create portals. That's like, again, if you could get 40 exiles on a map or, a bunch of unique mobs, this could be really insane.
I don't know if this is going to be good. I just love it because it's completely different.
Yeah, the numbers are there.
Beyond into completely different mechanic. You don't want to scale like Pexas anymore, but you need just more unique monsters.
Yep.
It's a whole new angle. Awesome.
The Beyond Scarabs are kind of shit, actually. Looking as a set,
them,
yeah.
I was gonna say, but we can't even block them.
I wish there was 2 notables. One said you block the mechanic, and then one said you block the scarabs. Because I wouldn't want to block Beyond. I just don't want the scarabs to drop.
I mean, you can't even block Beyond in the first place, right?
Oh, you're right. Shit, yeah, there's no way.
That's what I'm saying. You can't block these; they will always drop,
Bastards.
which is unfortunate. Because a lot of them are just gonna pile up like the corrupted one, I think.
Yeah. Well, speaking of blocked content, Kappa Ultimatum. So this is a weird one because I think I don't know. I've talked to people who've done Ultimatum in Trade League, and then they tell me one story, and then Ultimatum in Solo Self-Found is a different story, and none of them really seem too happy with Ultimatum in general. Like, it's a bit weird because still Ultimatum monsters don't drop items, which I don't know why that's the case, but they just don't. And yeah, guaranteeing an Ultimatum again is you could do it on the Scarab, but you could also just do it on the tree. It seems like a lot of the Ultimatum things are about increased experience from the tree. There's a couple nodes for it. And then completing as if you've gone through X amount of rounds. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Ultimatum in its current iteration. What do you guys feel like?
I feel like it drops a lot of corrupted uniques and rare items, right? Which is a cool idea thematically. But Ultimatum is the kind of mechanic that is really hard to do on League Start. And that's the only time where corrupted rares and uniques would really be good drops. Like, by the time I have a good Ultimatum build, I don't give a shit about corrupted rares anymore, right?
Yeah.
So it's just awkward. I mean, it's the main way to farm Catalyst, right? So it has its place in the game, and there are passives and scarabs that buff the Catalyst drop rate, so like, it has its place.
I don't know. I for the Catalyst thing, I think that it would be applicable more if it was literally the only place that gave catalysts, but you could turn out a large amount of catalysts through Heist and then convert them through Harvest. And that's how I've been doing it, and I haven't had any issues with doing it that way. Like,
that's
the waiting...
you're doing Heist, right? Which is the biggest time sink mechanic in the game.
It is, but Heist is it feels so valuable. I don't know. But there are other mechanics that drop catalysts, so it's kind of just like, as long as I could still get them elsewhere. Like, if I could consistently get higher tier oils just through Harvest and something else, I probably would never do Blight. But Blight is like a very small amount of time sunk to do that. But that's like getting 3 oils for an entire build versus getting 60 catalysts or 80 catalysts for a build of a specific type is a lot more effort required, especially, I feel like.
Yeah. On the other hand, catalysts are usually, unless you're using some unique item, very, very optional.
Yeah.
And like one of the last steps in min-maxing, really, like they don't really do much most of the time.
Yep.
You know, like an extra 10 life or something is not going to make or break your build.
No. The thing I'm obviously most excited about, and I think a lot of people are in a similar boat, is the guaranteed Trial Master.
Yeah.
Ultimatum encounters will always lead to Trial Master. Now, will this mean everyone has a Hate Forge? Probably not, but it's like, that's still a low drop, and you still have to, who knows how common this will be. At least it's a middle tier one, but...
It's just that it's 100 times more fun to farm it now, Because now if I want to farm Hate Forge, all I do is juice up maps and farm Scarabs, which is mega fun.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, now I've got 20 ultimatums. I could go do this. Like I'm only gonna do this now once I have like a bunch of these Scarabs. I'm just gonna do a bunch of Trial Masters in a row and have a great time.
Like, it's awesome. It makes almost a farming 100 times more fun.
Not for nothing, but again, if you were worried about Ultimatum like dying or something, you could always pick up Wellspring, which is unironically like, if you're playing a DD build or certain builds, like, if you're worried about losing a Trial Master, just having them do 25% less damage. Like, this Keystone exists. It's not a total meme, especially after doing last league. It is real. If you're really shitting your pants, Wellspring exists. You could grab that.
I literally farmed Ultimatum with Wellspring because I had just a build that dealt so much damage that it doesn't matter, right? So
yeah.
Still,
yeah,
and it's fine.
Totally good. Yeah, Wellspring is real. But yeah, Ultimate. The other ones are, what is it? They only offer catalysts, and then instead of offering catalysts, they offer inscribed ultimatums, which I don't know. It feels a little bait to me, but
I don't like inscribed ultimatums overall. But I think those scarabs are very good. Like they kind of fix issues that I have with ultimatum, because like you don't really want to do ultimatum for like some random garbage. At this point, it's like, oh, I want catalyst, so I'm gonna pop those in. I want Trial Master, I'm gonna put those in. I want inscribed ultimatum for some
I guess you're right.
Stuff, maybe
probably will be a similar thing where I if I had a couple of these or whatever, and I had other, like, I would maybe just swap the tree to doing just longer, like no boss longer encounters, just so I get the most bang for your buck out of this, and then kind of just like stop it. And then I guess that's kind of the theme with all these though, is just like, this might, like, in a myopically viewing this, it might seem not great, but then doing it in the limited capacity where you invest all into this one type of strategy, it probably shines more.
I'm kind of surprised that's pretty much the inscribed ultimatum one seems to be rarer than the Trial Master one. Like,
yeah, we could be full of shit. Also, that could be total meme. But it does feel like that's the case, at least the way that they're set up. But yeah, I mean, you still have to go through I guess that's the trade-off, is you still have to do. It's not like this is just a boss fight. You have to still do 10 waves of ultimatum, and then those 10 waves transition into the boss.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know.
But you can do it in like a white map, because the boss will spawn. You can do it as easy as possible.
That's the real question. So can you put this in a white tier 1?
Not white map, but I said like a scoured map. That's what I meant, really.
Well, no, why can't you do it in a white map?
Maybe.
Oh, it does. You know what? Sorry, it does say if possible, which means I guess that you probably can't.
Yeah.
It'd have to be like a red map then, or whatever.
Since the boss will spawn, you can now plan for it by doing like Huck and Nico and everything too. You can make it as easy as you want, really.
Wellspring, yeah.
Or Domination, Wellspring, yeah. You can plan for this and then never fail it, really, unless you fuck up.
Or just take Ruin by accident. Yeah, I mean, I'll pick anything over Ruin, because it's like it just, that's the only hard no, is if you hit Ruin. It just ends the encounter. Yeah, seems good. Delirium. First one again, area contains a mirror. Well, you can already guarantee a mirror, so
that's crazy to me, right? How a year ago it costed like 16 chaos to guarantee a mirror.
Yeah. Now,
and now we just get it for free on the Atlas for like 8 points or something.
Yep. Interesting. Second one, Delirium reward meter fills 100% faster, limit 2.
I think that's absolutely insane.
That's a lot of fucking. That's a lot of meter. I saw that. I thought it was a typo.
Right?
It's just Yeah,
it sucks to 2, so we can get 200% now.
Yep. Plus the tree.
That matters though, right? Because
the tree also has
so heavily diminishing returns. Like going from like 15 to 16 takes as much as going from 1 to 12 or so, right? Like it goes harder and harder and harder.
Unless you get to the 5th tier, though, like
you might get to like 21.
You could get to the 5th reward bracket, though. I think it's mostly just for getting the higher brackets of guaranteed cluster drops as well. There's like...
You're talking about the mirror. I was thinking of the orbs, you know?
Oh.
Yeah, I think it just... it's still so much better with skittering orbs, right? Like, I think going from 100 to 200 makes, like, skittering orbs, like, I don't know, like 5 rewards better.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be diminishing returns. But I think it's very good for skittering.
If you went to, like, 20 with... the Sexton in the past. Now, if you do double Scarab, you're going to go to 21 at best.
You think
so? It's really not that much.
Maybe.
Maybe.
And you get 50% more value, right? No, actually less, because you have that same wording on the Atlas too, right? Increased progress or whatever.
Yep.
And that's going to be additive probably with this too. So
Well, it means you're going to walk in, you're going to kill a pack and the fucking bar's going to zoom 3 times also, which will be a little bit funny. The next one is they generate 2 additional reward types, and it says limit 2. Which is really
that's interesting.
What's very interesting, especially with where is it? Is it not pathological? Compulsive hoarder. So there's the 8% chance to generate 3 additional reward types, and then this stacks 2 more. So that's 7 additional reward types. Are there even how many reward types are there?
Like you can get the same one multiple times.
Yeah, but that's even in the initial row, because this is going to be the initial. This isn't going to double up, right? This is going to be the initial row.
So a Delhi map, 100% Delhi has 6 mods, 6 reward types, right? 5 added ones and 1 random one.
Yep.
So
this is guaranteed past 4. That. Well, yes, so 4 on top of the You
have 10 guaranteed ones of this double Scarab, and then the Atlas can proc for another like +3. So the entire bar is going to be...
That's what I was thinking. It's going to look like you're doing fucking Legion 5 ways, just like a row of goodies in the bottom.
True.
That seems fine to me. I like the next one's interesting because it's worded in a very specific way that I thought was funny. Delirium encounters in area contain all unique Delirium bosses, containing... It can only be used on 11 red maps, so... that's just their way of saying you get Kosis and Omniphobia guaranteed. Seems fine, I guess.
Kind of mid.
It's
already nearly guaranteed. We're doing 40%.
Yeah, 60% just for those who don't know. I guess the Delusions of Persecution, 100% more likely means that when your map has 60% delirious from using orbs, that's over 100% chance to spawn both bosses. Omniphobia will always be there, and if it's a red map, then Kosis will be there too. So,
Scarab is essentially only ever useful if you're looking for one of the 7 drops from them, the 7 unique jewels.
Yeah, of which only like
pretty off meta nowadays.
Like 1 or 2 are good at best.
They're gonna be like 1C in trade.
Yeah.
They're gonna be pretty bad Scarabs.
Yeah, I think it's very good. Kind of mid.
And the next one, honestly, I feel is kind of weird too, which is maps found in the area have layers of delirium. So that just means that the maps found in the area are delirious maps.
Damn.
So, like, if you're in a full maps, whatever strat, then you could probably drop a lot of maps, and that's really good. But I don't know, it just seems a little... I don't think it's like that strong for where it's placed on the list of delirium things, but...
I think it's also only really good if you care for finding Secret Suffering or one of those jewels.
Yeah,
because
that's bosses.
Delhi layers are nearly useless unless you're hunting the bosses, right?
Yeah, I don't know. That's why it was kind of weird.
I gotta say, I want to block Delirium, I think. Like, this looks bad.
Yeah,
None of these Scarabs I care about other than the second one, maybe.
Yeah, second and third, I think, are the ones that have any real value for me, but...
I mean, the second one is... Or Delirium in general is really good, because it has a Scarab reward type, and Scarabs are now nuts, right? So
Yep. A little weird.
The mechanic is good, but the Scarabs seem kind of mid.
Yep. There's 2 other specialty sections of Scarabs we haven't gone over yet. Miscellaneous and Horned. So the miscellaneous ones are just generic, and they're pretty strong. The first one's just 40% magic pack size. which
like,
is
it's higher than elevated sexton used to be.
Yep. Yeah, that's a lot for like just, generic use.
Oh, you do this with the double incursion scarabs?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
this is the
The juice.
is the big juicing divination scarab, right? You do this with divination scarabs, and you just get. Oh right, sorry, I mistaken that, but like one of those, yeah, this one's very good.
The incursion, everything's a magic mob, and then there's all magic mobs.
Probably
And
fit in all the scarabs, right? Because
well,
this is a scarab, incursion is at least one, and then
yeah, you put 4
then you're gonna
scabs
do
in device. You
divination?
put one in your ass. You put one in your, one in your
They
pocket.
don't work that way though.
But then why are they in my ass if they're not working? It's just
For
for
your play.
fun, recreation. Maybe.
And that's where you put the delirium scarabs, because they're
That's where
pretty
I
bad.
put my Calandra's touch if I had one. In my ass. They're
But
good
I
though.
like the
yeah.
incursion idea. It's just kind of, if I had like 6 scarab slots, I would go for that strat. But I'm struggling to understand how to fit it all in.
Yeah. The next one is 4 additional packs with mirrored rares. That's limit 2.
Seems hella mid.
So that's
You combine that with the
essence thing, for example.
Essence one, yeah.
So that's 8 rares you're adding to the map if you have both of them on. So that's 8 more essences.
True.
So when you say it like
guess I would
that, it's a
always
lot
use
better.
2 of these with the essence one, and then another essence one probably.
It's a good example
Sure.
of just how well, kind of, I don't know if it's, I'll just give them the credit of saying well balanced and forethought, that like even the most mid scarabs that might be on their own, when used in conjunction with a different scarab, gain so much more value. So something like this, for example, when you're literally trying to add as many rares to the map as possible, this is pretty good, I think. But
Sure.
I don't know if the magic one may seem better to me personally, but
What the fuck is the next one?
40 to, so this is actually interesting. So 40 to 60
these barrels.
barrels, limit 3, right? So you can have, that's 150 barrels on average. Barrels are actually kind of crazy, unironically.
If you get the right ones.
Yes. Yeah. Some barrels
Really
just have like a
fun.
lot of loot and a lot of stuff. They also could kill you probably if you weren't paying attention, but I don't trust the map to spawn that many because I feel like it's going to eat some of
that's
them.
true.
Like if you did like a
I mean, you
toxic
basically-
sewer,
You can't even step into your map without
that's what I'm
walking
saying.
over a barrel.
Imagine doing a toxic sewer with 150 barrels. That's the entire map floor is covered in barrels. There's no room for anything else.
They're gonna stack on top of each other at that point.
Yeah. Towers of monkey barrels. Seems funny. The next one is again just the other sextant hunted traders, which was pretty good before. Kind of fell off over time, but sure, more mobs.
I don't understand that one. I think this one's like absolutely useless unless they buff those 100 traders to
So
Oblivion.
I don't know. They might count as unique monsters, and if they do, then obviously there's a lot more
They
value
don't.
there. But if they don't, then it's I don't know. I don't see the point of it.
They're like magic packs usually.
Yeah. Well, there you go. The
I mean, they're good for MFing, right? But now you have to use so
not
many
compared to everything
scarabs
else
for,
is
like,
the problem.
divination now
Yeah, there's so much other
that
better
you don't have
shit.
space for them.
Yeah, if it was a sextant on top of it, maybe. The
Good for XP maybe, right? With like
Maybe.
domination XP maybe.
maybe.
Same for the barrels. The barrels are actually hella good XP too.
Yeah.
When they spawn rare monsters, that is. Sometimes they just spawn bearers and you die.
The next one is
What is
the
that last one?
it is so this is the softcore special. 50% chance for portals to not
Wait,
be
Does
consumed
that
on
mean
use.
you can have infinite people in the same map if you get lucky?
I thought about that. So I don't know because if so, then that's the real trade league IQ stacking strat. But I think this is
Nah,
more interesting
I
for
confirm that. I'm gonna kill the fun,
wow.
kill the discussion.
Wow.
Mark confirmed it.
All right.
It
Oh,
can help.
okay.
What this might be most useful for is if you're like doing the feared early in league and you're like not 100% sure that
Can't
you're
put
going to
on
clear
an
it.
invitation.
Oh fuck! What is the fucking point of this thing?
It's 17 maps, I guess.
I guess same principle, right? It's just like to use on content you're a little bit concerned about for more
Pretty
attempts.
much. I paid for 9 portals. I will use
I will
9
get.
portals.
I paid for
Well,
9 portals. Where are my 12 portals?
Might
I
pay
want
and
15
lose
portals.
6 coin flips and get nothing in return.
Yeah, but then it's like you died because you're a shitter and you lost the flips because you're a double shitter. So you kind of deserve it. To
Wait
be
for
fair,
some clip where someone
can't wait.
puts in like a tier 17 boss with giga mods and just suicides in like 18 times and
Mm-hmm.
keeps getting lucky and eventually kills it on the 19th portal or something.
The horned scarab. These seem like the real some of these are
They
real
must be
crazy.
boss drops, right?
I assume
There's
so.
7 of them, and
No.
there's 7 Uber
No.
bosses.
Every single scarab is a global drop.
Wow.
With
They
waiting.
confirmed it, really?
Yes, it's
Well,
confirmed.
some of these are crazy. So like all monsters, or at least magic. Sure, we already know why that's that's good for all these things.
This is like the scarab. Like
Yep.
this is
Oh,
the
like-
scarab of the league.
Rare
Pretty
monsters
much.
have 2 additional modifiers. Pretty insane.
Yep.
But to be fair, they just removed a lot of the loot goblin-y things from the rares.
Wait, so is the strat then 40 magic pack size plus bloodlines plus 2 divination scarabs, right?
Sure.
It's either that or 3 divination scarabs plus magic. So 3 divination magic.
And skip the pack size?
Yeah, skip the back size.
Yeah, someone in chat. Replica Headhunter. Let's go. The real fucking
And I
thing.
assume the Haunt ones are going to be very rare.
Yeah.
But
There's,
the magic pack size one should be super common, right? It looks rusted. Surely it's common.
I wonder what so the other one is other scarabs are not consumed on use is a weird one. I mean, it seems cool for some things,
That's
but
really
like
cool.
it's also like a little bit awkward because it takes up a scarab slot, and a lot of the cool scarab strategies would involve using 4 scarabs. So it has to be used on a scarab strategy that uses 3 scarabs that is also rare to set up.
I mean, I can already see the triple ambush, right? Like Monster's
Yeah.
Treasure plus more varieties plus increased effect or
Yeah.
something, and then use that one to run it twice.
Yeah.
I mean, that one is super good for sure. Also, Trial Master, right? It's next to Trial Master.
Yep. The imbued crafting, they showed some of the options, but they're like just a bunch of cracked outcomes, right? That's just like stronger crafting outcomes.
And yeah, this one has also the remove prefix, remove suffix from the map. So
Yeah.
that's why I think it's gonna be like only used for the imbuing things, right? Like
Yeah.
making good league mechanics, right? So that's
So
quite
no
unfortunate,
making the
honestly.
17s easier, unless you want to
No,
waste
not
a lot of
really.
resources.
The
Oof, time to make
There.
5 builds to run every map mod.
Yeah. All rare monsters have at least 1 reward modifier, and our IQIR does not apply.
Yeah, the anti-MF one.
Yeah. Seems a
So
bit
that's
strange.
like
I don't know.
fractured items and whatnot.
1
They all
reward
have at least one
modifier?
type of loot explosion.
Uh,
What does that
reward
mean?
modifier sounds almost like the reward modifiers that like the Exiles have, where it's like the icon above their head.
Oh,
Yeah,
would be
that's
kinda
a reward
shit.
modifier, right?
I don't know.
I thought it would be like one of the rare monster.
Well, they just
But it
removed
says, like,
they
modifiers,
removed
right,
most
in
of
the
those. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no longer dropping white items. They're no longer giving gem experience. Like, there's not that many reward modifiers anymore. I don't think, are there?
I mean, there's fully linked, fully socketed. There's fractured. There's corrupted. There's
What?
mirrored.
Some of them are removed though. I know there was like a list of like
Yeah,
6
some
or
of them are
7.
removed. I'm sure there's still a bunch left.
Yeah. Players gain IQIR for each monster slain
Oh, Mark
recently.
said that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Chat just said
Oh,
Mark
if
said
it is
like
Legion type
Legion.
stuff, like that is what I just said then. So that seems kind of shit then, honestly. I don't know. Those reward types aren't particularly that strong, so
I mean, you replace your quant with I mean, it's only your magic find quant, right? So if you don't have any magic find, there's no downside to this.
yeah,
You
but
just get
it's
some
it's
free
just saying
looters.
the fact that this is of the same rarity as things like everything's magic or 2 additional like that seems
Yeah, that's kind of
much lower power level in comparison.
bit disappointing. I mean, it's
Especially 'cause the next one is-
right, so it works on league mechanic rares too.
I guess.
For beyond.
I don't know. The next one just seems so much stronger. Just to put on an MFer that just gives an extra free 200, rarity and quant. Like, seems good.
Yeah. I
Um,
guess that's the one you want to use with Legion.
and then the last one seems to be like the big meme one, which is packs have a 15% chance to be replaced by an Atlas boss. That seems funny.
I heard you liked Atlas Invasion.
Yep.
I mean, the cool thing is that if you're in
Yeah.
trade, you can just buy this scarab on every single map.
Oh
Imagine
yeah,
how
this
cool
is
that
like a trade league wet dream, half the shit. Yeah. I have to go soon. So we've been
Did we
here
just
for
talk
like
about
3
scarabs
hours.
for, That's like 5%
Yeah,
of
this-
the patch, by the way.
I think this is more like 50% of the patch in my opinion. This is like a lot of
We
stuff.
haven't talked about any like build balance or anything. All
That
the
doesn't
league
matter. Why don't we talk about our starters real quick? What do you guys plan to start with?
Who's going first?
I got
I mean,
Legi
I'm
goes
gonna...
first.
Okay.
Oh my god. I didn't want to expose myself, okay? Like, I know I'm a bow cock fraud. I know. But, yep,
Oops.
I'm playing Lightning Arrow. It is what it is. I've accepted my fate. It's Lightning Arrow.
Are you gonna swap to Tornado Shot? Not at all, or later, or what's the plan there?
Okay, so my plan for League Start is to like expand on it. Is like I wanna play Lightning Arrow for a couple of days, and then respect that character probably to the Heist Runner. Like, so I wanna have a level 100 Ranger to get a Heist Runner, and then just reroll to some kind of
So do you
like
already
a
have
nice build.
an idea for a second real build then, or are you just gonna wait and see what's coming up?
We'll see how people enjoy the Cog DD. The build of the cat. The build of the league. If they hate it, then I
About Cock DD?
think, yeah. If they hate it, I'll not play it. If they like it, I will probably play it.
The Templar one, you mean? Like the...
Yeah, the Templar one. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's solid. It's what I'm gonna... I don't know if it really scales it well to be like the main long-term build though. Like, I feel like a couple of weeks in with the gear you would craft in that time, I think you're better off playing TS again, aren't you?
Yeah, maybe just disregard that plan, play TS, or let's play some kind of Archmage build. I don't know. We'll see.
That's what I'm league starting as, yeah.
Gonna pop up.
Archmage.
True, there could be some really cool mana stuff. I haven't really looked much into it, but people are hyped as fuck for mana.
The another interesting build I saw for league start, aside from the DD1, the COC version or not, is just the concept of using automation with brand recall to just basically infinitely reset your brands for like things like Armageddon brand or whatever. That seemed kind of cool.
Great for bossing mostly though, right?
Just it's lazy. You just cast a brand, recall triggers automatically, you just walk around, right? Like that seems could be fun. Also, like that's at level 28, that should be kind of working, or 30, whatever, depending on what automation is. But seems kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm starting Archmage, Arc, agnostic, like big mana stuff. So that's just
not stuck in white maps for 2 weeks for the first time.
No, I'm free last.
The weirdest builds.
Yeah, I always put I just actually got a good build this league, so just I'm also the arc that was it orbiting last week, whatever the one that was bugged. I'm not using that one, which is because it lost 10% of it, or 10 times damage or something for single target. But regular arc is good. Archmage seems good. Yeah, the other arc actually I think is really strong. Also, though that gains more damage per chain, but only if you had like Awaken chain. I don't know if I want to farm that out depending on the new Uber stuff, but could be good. Yeah, I like the idea of that like of the COC Inquisitor DD also, but we played so much DD last week. It's like I'm tapped out. I think should be good. What about yourself?
Yeah, I mean the COC DD is my current plan, but I might change it still.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I feel like it's just a build that the painful part is going to be day one, but once we get it going,
I mean, same, yeah.
Yeah, once we get it going, it's like done, and you don't need any crazy gear. And I could think about a second build very early, because there isn't much in maxing to do about the DD build. It's just DD, it doesn't scale with anything.
Yep.
So it's the kind of build that's just done after 3 days usually. And then it's time to figure out a second build. And second builds, I'm not usually a huge fan of re-rolling. But
no, I feel you.
17 maps being unmodifiable.
It's a little awkward, yeah.
I need to find a build that like covers the weaknesses of my first character, basically. So not sure what that will be yet.
Yeah.
But being an Inquis, you can't really run no region or less recovery.
True.
Maybe find a build that can run those.
Any like
yep. So I would love to play some kind of adorned build. So like that's the thing I kind of wanna do this league, like do some adorned stuff, because they didn't nerf it.
Same. That could be anything though, really.
It's crazy.
I mean, any build that could just run 6 to 8 magic scarabs just takes massive advantage.
How long do you think it takes to get a Dawn build up and running? Because like first you gotta farm the
depends how lucky you get.
A good roll on it, and then you gotta actually
a lot of luck.
And usually you want to have like voices.
Yeah.
It's probably like week 4.
Yeah,
like
it's a lot of build, right?
I feel like it's heavily predicated on how lucky you are, what percentage, because you could easily get 10 adorns that are sub 100, right? That would be like, and that would be catastrophic. I feel like feeling.
I don't know. I got one adorned and it was 147. So
Right. Well, that's because you're a little spoon baby. That's different. We're all little spoon babies.
I mean, the thing that turns me off about the Adorned is that you're gonna have to do so much delving.
Yeah.
And I want to do so many Atlas strats, right? And farm scarabs and maps and try all of these things. And then if I have to log in and spend half my day in Delve, it's going to feel pretty sad.
Yeah.
We'll see. Also, no league mechanic in Delve. Right?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's really selling it, boys. Do you have any closing thoughts before we skedaddle? We could probably be here for the 8 hours, but I have to piss my pants and drive to New York. So any last? Yeah, we'll say 50-50. Anything you want to add real quick, Legi?
I have to say I couldn't be more excited about this league. Like I'm super crazy excited about trying everything. Probably as Manni mentioned multiple times. It's like so many new strats, so many new things. And although the builds look kinda mid for now. We'll see what pops up this league. But
yeah.
For the strats, amazing.
Yeah, probably the biggest changes we've seen in years, right? Like it's been.
Yep.
The last time I've been this excited was probably when they added the Atlas tree or something.
Mm-hmm. I think for me it was the trans gems added a lot of. There's still a ton of trans gems I haven't checked out yet that I want to build around, and maybe I'll do that.
I mean, I just live for end game farming strats. That's what I'm playing for.
You can tell we're really loved because we've talked about scarabs for 2.5 hours straight.
Like I don't care about new skills. Like that's just.
No, I feel you.
Not really why I'm playing PoE
Good.
for.
Well, look out for all of us, I guess. Feel free to watch all of us we're all playing Legal Lunch, I assume, right? Everyone's going to be here?
For sure.
All right. So we'll all be in our respective time zones, living our best lives. And then we're planning on probably, 2 weeks after League, we'll do another podcast with Easy, based off his schedule. He had some issues. And we'll talk about all of our cool discoveries, our Atlas strategies, what we tested, our builds, our starters, what felt good, what felt shit. There's going to be a lot to talk about, and we'll probably only ever scratch the surface because we're looking at a page of 300 scarabs right here. So,
and especially
Necropolis,
grave
crafting.
Grave crafting, exactly.
We're
gonna figure this
out. We'll crack the codes. Yeah.
So much to do this league, it's crazy.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you two for hanging out, and thanks everyone for watching for whatever. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Scarab podcast is over.
Scarab podcast. And we could have if I didn't have to leave, we could have gone for another hour and a half on just Scarabs Easy. I was kind of trying to move us along each time we were talking about them.
Yeah, kind of understand, but thanks for watching, everyone.
All right,
that's great.
Have fun. Bye bye. Give kisses. Mwah. Smooch.
Bye bye.